Hello, everybody, and welcome into TD Ameritrade Park here in Omaha, Nebraska. We're at the semifinal Saturday of the Big Ten tournament. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Michigan, Nebraska, second time today. Winner goes on to the finals tomorrow. Loser goes home with nothing. I'm Austin Falco alongside Nick Hornberg. You will hear Daniel Thompson later on today. And Nick, there's not much to say other than huge win this morning for the Wolverines. Got to get it done one more time.
Well, here we go again. Michigan, a big and very long win earlier this morning, beating Nebraska by a score of 18-8 in what was head coach Eric Bakic's 250th win as head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. Fantastic milestone for the coach himself and this program. However, to be honest, he probably doesn't know that right about now. He's probably been spent all day thinking about tonight, as this is a big game. Of course, the winner, as you stated, goes to the tournament final tomorrow. Very possibly will be the favorite, as it is highly probable that the opponents of the winner of this game tomorrow will play a doubleheader tomorrow, as Ohio State and Minnesota look to go late into the night. And Angelo Smith on the mound today for the Wolverines. Both teams looking to use the back ends of their bullpen today. Not a whole lot of options here this late in the tournament.
Nebraska's lineup is as follows. Jackson Hallmark is the leadoff hitter and left fielder for Nebraska. Cam Chick, the designated hitter, bats second. Batting third, the right fielder, Aaron Polensky. Batting in the cleanup spot and playing third base, Angelo Altavilla. It's Spencer Schwallenbach, who plays plays shortstop and bats fifth. Batting sixth. Behind the plate is Luke Roscom. Joe Acker, the center fielder, is batting seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, is Alex Henwood. And rounding out the lineup in the 9-hole, the first baseman, Colby Gomez. As you mentioned, Nick, on the mound for the Wolverines today, Angelo Smith, making his fourth start of the season. He's appeared in 20 games before this one. 1-0, 4.62 ERA on the season. Pitched in 25 and a third innings. Struck out 30, walked 15. Batters hit .283 against the sophomore left-hander out of Thornton, Illinois. Certainly on the biggest stage of his career.
Indeed, absolutely, no doubt. We saw Michigan's pitchers earlier today. Maybe the size of the seam may have gotten to them a little bit with the very large and precocious Nebraska crowd this morning. Honestly, it looks even a little bit thinner this evening.
I'd expect a few more Nebraskans trickle in as we get later on into this one. Start time was very much in flux for this one, as we were waiting for the end of Minnesota and Ohio State beforehand, and that game came to a screeching halt right around the 8th inning. I believe they were cruising along, set to be done in almost 2.5 hours roughly. They came to the 8th inning, and it took them a full hour and 40, I believe it was an hour and a half or hour 45 minutes to get through the last 2 innings of that one. A lot of runs scored at the end of that one, a lot of arms used as well. Those teams potentially in danger.
Either way, as we're about ready to go, still a lot of people here. They have the music loud, getting late into the evening. Very likely, well, not very likely, it definitely, the sun will be down by the end of this game. And quite simply, this is a big one.
Angelo Smith on the mound, ready to go lefty-righty to Jackson Hallmark to start things off here. Semifinal Saturday, game number 3 on the day. Foul ball off to the right side, out of play. The count is 0-1. First pitch officially 6:43 p.m. Central Time. That's local time here in Omaha, Nebraska. Smith works out of the windup from the third base side of the rubber for the Wolverines. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball call. Strike 2 on the outside corner. It's 0-2 on Hallmark.
And Angelo Smith had his ups and downs this season. An ERA of 4.62 in his sophomore campaign. However, as we've said off air, when he's on, he can rack up strikeouts in bunches.
0-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses low. 1-2. Tried to get the chase there from Hallmark, but couldn't get it. Hallmark in the earlier game today, 1 for 4, scored a run, walked a couple times as well. Was on base plenty for a Nebraska team that scored 8 runs despite the loss. 1-2 pitch here, breaking ball down and in, blocked by Donovan, but not chasing is Hallmark, so it's even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And pitch count is going to be the magic term today in this evening's game, as both teams running at the ends of their bullpen right now, and Eric Bakic is going to have to monitor Angelo Smith very closely for how long he can continue in this game.
2-2 pitch fouled off back over the screen, a little bit to the right side underneath us. The count remains 2-2. official forecast for today, 78 degrees. We got mostly sunny. And north winds at 7 miles an hour. This one's hit high in the air towards the right side of the infield. Jimmy Kerr ranging into foul territory. That's the Wolverine first baseman backing up now and making the grab for the first out here in game number 2.
And that's an excellent start, however. Angelo Smith thrown 6 pitches in that at-bat. Not bad at all. In fact, it's only a shade above where you want to be, 15 pitches per inning, so about 5 pitches per at-batter. Smith going in just above that, however, as a bullpen arm. He's not going to be, very unlikely he'll be expected to go longer than 3 innings.
Yeah, we expect 3, maybe 4 innings out of Smith today. Anything more would be gravy for head coach Eric Backish. I think that's kind of the way both teams are thinking today. Bullpen days, get arms going as long as you can while they're still effective, because if they're not, you could be going home. First pitch to Cam Chick is a fastball that misses outside from Smith. Another lefty to righty matchup as the 1-0 delivery misses outside again. It's 2-0.
Indeed, Eric Backich's pitching management has been quite good so far in this tournament. However, it's at the point where just by virtue of being in the losers bracket, they've played a few more games than the winners, and as a result, the pitching depth has been strained.
2-0 pitch misses high, ball 3. And you'd like to see Nebraska jump out early here if you're a Huskers fan, the same way Michigan did in the first game, scoring 7 runs in the first inning of that one before Nebraska even had a chance to bat. 3-0 pitch, fastball just misses outside, maybe a bit high, ball 4. 4-pitch walk puts Cam Chick on first base with 1 out in the inning. That brings up the Huskers' best hitter, Aaron Polensky.
And Angelo Smith now up to 10 pitches early on in this first inning. Nothing too extreme, nothing to get too concerned about. However, this is a game in which, with the context with both teams having to use bullpen arms, no doubt the most important defensive play in the field is going to be the double play.
If you get guys on, you want to get those ground balls. As you said, you have to convert them. First pitch to Polensky, our fastball on the inside corner, strike 1. Polensky backing away, but didn't get the call. Nebraska fans not happy with home plate umpire Mike Duffy. The umpires today, Mike Duffy behind the plate. First base is Dave Condon. Eric Lovelace is at second. And Jim Shaley, who was behind the plate in our earlier game, is over there at third, right in the sun. Poor Jim Shaley was out in the sun as a home plate umpire, now squarely in the setting sun right now. That's the 0-1 pitch, misses outside, 1-1. The defensive lineup for the Wolverines across the outfield: Miles Lewis, Jesse Franklin, and Christian Bullock left to right. Left side of the infield is Blake Nelson at third, Jack Blomgren at short. Akeo Thomas is at second base, and Jimmy Kerr's over at first. Joe Donovan's behind the mound for Angelo Smith, or rather behind the plate for Angelo Smith, who is on the mound and fires one low and in to Polensky. It's 2-1. Another right-hander in this Nebraska batting order. They've got a couple switch hitters, including Chick on first base and Altavilla in the on-deck circle, and a couple lefties farther down the lineup as well. But for the most part, Angelo Smith will be facing those guys batting from the right side. He checks the runner. Now 2-1 pitch to Polensky. Ground ball towards short. Jack Blomgren fields on a couple hops. Goes second for 1. Relay throw to first base after a hesitation is not in time.
And that one's really close, and really it looked like Akeo Thomas trying to make the turn took a double clutch on the ball, and that's really the difference there from getting out of the inning in 14 pitches versus now having to go beyond 15 and bumping up against 20.
Yeah, it looked like Akeo Thomas just double clutched, didn't quite get a grip on that ball as he was trying to throw over to first base. Unfortunate for the Wolverines. You did call it, though. Very important is the double play ball in this ball game. Could have been huge to get Angelo Smith out of the inning. As it stands, he'll face the 4-hitter in the Nebraska lineup, Angelo Altavilla. Altavilla in the early game today had himself a really good ball game, 3 for 3. Couple RBIs, couple of runs scored. It's going to take a minute for him to step into the box. Angelo Smith stepping onto the rubber now. Smith, not the tallest out there, stands at just 5'9", 160, does the left-hander. He looks over at Polensky at first. Now checks him again. First pitch to the at-bat to Altavilla is a call. Strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1.
That is actually the second pitch to the at-bat. The count is 1-1.
Oh, my mistake there. I missed a pitch in there. The count is 1-1. First pitch missed to Altavilla. Smith does like to work fast. A lot of these Wolverine pitchers do like to work fast and they can get in a groove. We saw Walker Cleveland earlier working at near lightning pace before running into trouble. And now the 1-1 pitch on the outside corner, strike 2. Husker fans again not happy with Mike Duffy. Looks like that outside corner might be open for business for starting pitchers today. This first inning is any indication, at least. Polensky over there at first does have some speed. He's got 6 for 6 on stolen bases this year. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Nasty breaking ball from Angelo Smith, moving down and in on the right-hander Altavilla. And he sets him down on 4 pitches. So we will head to the bottom of the first inning. Nebraska does not score. The score, Nebraska 0, Michigan coming up. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast from Michigan Baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And that's an absolutely fantastic pitch there by Angelo Smith, putting that inning away and right where it looked like it was going to be after the first batter. 18 pitches, however, those 4 pitches added onto his pitch count by the inability of K.O. Thomas and Jimmy Kerr to turn that double play could potentially prove costly.
When you're working with a very limited pitching staff as the Wolverines and the Huskers are, every at-bat, every pitch means just that much more towards being able to stay in a ball game longer, give yourself a better shot to win, and not having to go into some arms that perhaps aren't as well equipped to pitch in a game like this against such a high quality team that we see on the other side. Both these teams will be in the NCAA tournament. We are almost 100% sure they are both locks. Just a matter of 2 seeds versus 3 seeds at this point for these teams. The winner of this game, and if they go on to win tomorrow's championship game, probably a 2 seed. The loser probably stuck with a 3 seed and maybe in a difficult regional. Michigan will look to jump out early here after holding Nebraska scoreless in the top of the first. They have the exact same lineup they used earlier on, which is no surprise given the 18 runs they scored earlier. Jordan Wogu, the designated hitter, leads things off. He's followed by Jesse Franklin, the center fielder, in the 2-hole. Batting third, shortstop Jack Blomgren. In the cleanup spot is Jimmy Kerr. He plays first base. Miles Lewis, the left fielder, bats 5th. Batting 6th, playing third base, is Blake Nelson. Behind him at the 7th spot is the backstop, Joe Donovan. Christian Bullock getting another start in right field, bats 8th. He's in there for the Big Ten Player of the Year, Jordan Brewer. And batting 9th, second baseman, K.O. Thomas, rounding out the order for the Wolverines. They'll face a freshman left-hander for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Kyle Perry. He's out of Omaha, Nebraska. The local kid has pitched in 9 games this year, started 6 of them. He is 2-1 with a 6.14 ERA. 22 innings worth of work for him on the year. He struck out 25, walked just 14. Batters hit .295 against the freshman lefty.
Indeed, and big call by head coach Eric Bakich. Bit of a surprise for us this morning, finding Jordan Brewer dropped from the starting lineup. Jack Blomgren moved up to the 3-hole. Jordan Brewer, the current Big Ten Player of the Year, mired in a slump for quite some time. No official reason given, however, maybe you then speculate he's been carrying something for a while, and Eric Bakich making a big call, paid off in a big way. Jack Blomgren had a big game in the 3-hole.
First pitch to Jordan Wogu misses high and wide for a ball. It's 1-0, and rumors around here, Luke Perry has a short leash, or rather Kyle Perry has a short leash here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They have a couple arms they're going to try to go to. 1-0 pitch. Hit high in the air by Jordan Wogu towards center field. Going back as center fielder Acker on the run. He makes the grab and falls down in straightaway center field. It's 408 to that wall out there. That one went about 390, and Jordan Wogu's retired to start the bottom of the first.
And obviously that didn't go the way Jordan Wogu was hoping for, but that looked for a moment, looks like he had the ball over Acker's head for the double, potentially the triple in the deepest part of the park, but unfortunately hangs up. However, if you're Eric Bakich and Jordan Wogu, you look at that and say, oh, it didn't go well, but that's a hard hit ball.
Yeah, Michigan hit the ball hard a lot earlier and happened to find some holes. As a lefty-lefty matchup here for the first time in the ball game results in a first pitch strike on the outside corner to Jesse Franklin. Franklin really got off the schneid a little bit over these last 2 ball games. Just 1 for 6 in the ball game earlier today with a run scored. Did not go down on strikes, though, which is something he's been a little bit susceptible to recently. Ball pops out of the glove of Raskin behind the plate as it misses high and brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Coming set is Perry. He works out of the windup from the first base side of the rubber. And Franklin pops up behind the plate to the left side. That'll get out of play behind the third base dugout. And the count is now 1-2 on the Wolverine center fielder.
And with the speculation that Kyle Perry is in fact going to be an opener, pitch count also equally as important for him as it is for Angelo Smith. On the other side for the Wolverines, every foul ball very advantageous for the Wolverines.
1-2 pitch, missed high. The count is 2-2. Okay, tried to get Franklin a chase there, but he did not. And we will even things up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Husker fans getting into this one. 2-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, strike three. And you hear the roar of the Big Red faithful here in Omaha. As there's 2 outs in the bottom of the first, Jack Blomgren will make his way to the plate for Michigan.
And Jesse Franklin really hasn't been seeing the ball all that well this tournament. He's had some big hits, but there you see him swinging at the high fastball. An excellent pitch there by Perry, but Jesse Franklin starting to struggle a little bit.
Jack Blomgren, on the other hand, not doing so in that newfound 3-0. He hits one high and deep down the right field line. That one's hooking near the foul pole. That ball is going to land just foul into the seats. That one at home run distance, but just sliced on Blomgren. It's 0-1. We saw Blomgren, his first at-bat in the earlier game, put one down that right field line and bounce it over the wall for a ground rule double. He was 3 for 4 overall on the day with a couple doubles. Drove him in 2 runs and scored 3 runs himself. And he swings and misses here at the 0-1 pitch. A high fastball comes up empty, and now it's 0-2.
And all of Michigan's batters, Jordan Wogu, Jesse Franklin, and now Jack Blomgren, swinging early and swinging often against Kyle Perry.
Husker crowd clapping along to the 2 strikes as they always do. Perry winds up 0-2 to Blomgren. This one's fouled off down the right side. That'll get into a sea of red in the stands, and it's still 0-2. Nebraska fans still trickling in, really populating the first base side where the Huskers are positioned in that dugout as the away team. Small pocket of Michigan fans to the left. 0-2 pitch to Blomgren, and this one's grounded towards the left side, and that'll get into left field for a base hit. Jack Blomgren stays hot at the plate in the 3-hole, takes a huge aggressive turnaround first base, but retreats with a single here in the first.
And that's big, if only to prolong Kyle Perry's first inning, as Jack Blomgren on first base demonstrated the ability to do some damage on the base paths after reaching in the 6th inning of the game of today's game after a bit of a scary moment hitting the back of the head with a pitch, but ultimately advancing to second on a wild pitch and then moving across third and home, first on a single and an error. So Blomgren, maybe not a threat to steal, but no doubt a player that cannot be ignored on the base paths.
First pitch, Jimmy Kerr, fastball called, strike out of the hand of Kyle Perry. Kerr, probably the hottest hitter for the Wolverines in the tournament overall, but did have a bit of a colder day today. Did go 1 for 4, drove in a couple runs, but struck out twice. One of just 4 strikeouts, or rather 2 of just 4 strikeouts of the entire day from Michigan lineup that came to the plate a lot in that earlier ball game. Lefty to lefty now. Perry's checking the runner. The 0-1 pitch misses outside. Now it's 1-1. Overall on the season for Kerr, been a breakout season in his senior year. 270 average, 371 on base percentage. That continues to climb as he has success here in this Big Ten tournament. He also was reached base on a walk earlier to help that on base percentage. Coming set at the belt is Perry. 1-1 pitch. This one's grounded towards the right side. This will be an easy play for the second baseman, Henwood. He makes the play to first base in plenty of time to retire Kerr for out number 3 here in the first. So Michigan does not score on 1 hit. No errors, and the Wolverines leave 1 man on base. A little bit different than the first game. We are tied here 0-0 after 1. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
Well, quick work made in that inning. Neither pitcher threw a 1-2-3. Angelo Smith throwing 18. Kyle Perry throwing 14 pitches as neither side able to scratch across a run. As you said, big difference from earlier today where Michigan was able to plate 7 in the top of the first.
Michigan set the tone early in that game. They were up 9-0 after 3 innings. Nebraska came storming back with 4 unanswered for Michigan. Stretched it back out with a 6-run 6th and really put things away against the Huskers. Again, the final score 18-8. Technically, there is a run rule here in the Big Ten tournament that if you're winning by 10 runs after 7 innings, the ball game can end. Michigan was unable to hold a double-digit lead till the end of an inning until that 9th. So we had to play all 9. We went 4 hours and 8 minutes earlier on today. A long ball game, but Michigan didn't really use too many of their arms. We talked a little bit in our mid-game pods today about who we expected to see. One of the names was Angelo Smith, who is on the mound right now. A couple of other names we speculated. Willie Weiss hasn't been used in a few days for head coach Eric Bakich. The closer should see some substantial action in this one. along with potentially Joe Pace, Benjamin Kaiser, maybe Isaiah Page as well. We'll see how many hands are on deck for Eric Bakich. Not quite all hands on deck, just because they've had so many innings pitched over the last 3 days here, rather now 4 days in Omaha. But Angelo Smith will do his best to go deep in this ball game. He'll get Spencer Schwellenbach for the first time here to lead off the second. First pitch to him. Fastball called. Strike at the knees on the outside corner. Schwellenbach not a fan of that one.
And Coach Bakich, as you said, absolutely down a few hands in the bullpen. All three of the starters, Tommy Henry, Carl Kaufman, and Jeff Criswell, not available.
0-1 pitch. Just a breaking ball down and in. Almost hits Schwellenbach, but he dances out of the way. And the count is 1-1.
And just as well, Walker Cleveland, who started off this morning's game, very unlikely to be available, along with Isaiah Page's availability is up for question, but Blake Beer is also throwing 3 innings earlier today, most likely out of consideration.
1-1 pitch is fouled, lined into the right field stands. And the count is 1-2 now on the right-handed hitting shortstop for the Huskers. Schwellenbach, freshman out of Saginaw, Michigan, 6'1", 200 pounds, crouches over in the right-handed batter's box, open stance, as Smith winds up 1-2 to him. Breaking ball moving down and in. Tried to get the chase. Did not get it. And the count is even up at 2-2. Huskers doing a good job laying off that breaking ball down and in on the right-hander so far.
Yeah, and early on it looks like Angelo Smith and catcher Joe Donovan are really committing to trying to establish that breaking ball in the zone.
2-2. Tries to bring that breaking ball right on the inside corner, but can't quite get it to stick. And now it's 3-2.
Now the breaking ball is critical to Angelo Smith's pitching repertoire. If he can mix that fastball and the breaking ball at times, he is nigh unhittable.
Full count pitch on the way. Breaking ball called, strike 3 right down the middle. He froze Schwellenbach there. Schwellenbach knew it too. He was looking fastball on full count, and he was frozen like a statue in that right-handed batter's box. That's the second straight K for Angelo Smith, second on the day for him. That'll bring up Luke Roscom.
And you see, that's where Angelo Smith is at his most effective, when he can mix his fastball and his breaking ball at any pitch in the at-bat. Of course, 3-2, any pitcher is going to feel more comfortable throwing a fastball over the heart of the plate. But instead, Angelo Smith opts for that breaking ball, nestles in the zone, and you see the importance of that pitch to Angelo Smith's performance.
Luke Roscom is the catcher for Nebraska today. Left-handed hitter, swings and misses at the first offering from Smith. He's down in the count 0-1 now. Roscom, a .230 hitter on the season. Gets on base at a .365 clip. He does have a good eye up there. He's walked 22 times on the year. Takes a 0-1 pitch away for a ball, 1-1.
And Roscom, the only Nebraska hitter to not have started this morning. Instead, he is starting in place of Gunnar Hellstrom.
This one's a ground ball up the middle. Jack Blommer was positioned right near the second base bag. He fields, throws to first. Kerr keeps his foot on the bag for out number 2. And smooth play there from Blomgren to Kerr. Michigan doing what they've been doing all tournament long, clean fielding. Committed 1 error that was in the ball game earlier today. Could have maybe had a second one, but the official score was gracious to Jimmy Kerr, perhaps the man who drove in the 2 runs on the ball that got past Jimmy Kerr. And thus they stick at 1. 2 outs in the inning. The first pitch here is a ground ball into the right field by Joe Acker. Into right center, to be more specific. Akeo Thomas was shaded near second base, otherwise it would have been right at the second base position. Instead, Acker has himself a first pitch single. There's a runner on first with 2 outs in the second.
Indeed, excellent effort by Acker, beating the shift. The right-handed hitter Acker infield moved over to the left, and Akeo Thomas positioned poorly for a hit out to the right side, and Acker, once again, excellent effort, beating the shift, splitting Kerr and Akeo Thomas.
Alex Henwood, now the second baseman, is going to step up, the second and last lefty in this lineup for Nebraska. Lefty first pitch. Swinging and a miss at a ball down and in on Henwood. Look like a good 2-seamer there out of the hands of Smith. The count is 0-1. Henwood earlier in the ballgame today, an 0-for-4 day, but did score a run as he was able to get on base. 0-1 pitch. Misses high and away. It's 2 around. Now it's 1-1.
And you see Michigan's infield. It was shaded over to the left for Acker. Now it's shaded over to the right for Henwood. Blake Nelson well off his line, about 40% of the way between third and second base.
You have that lefty pole shift on Henwood as the 1-1 pitch to him is swung on and missed. Way ahead of the breaking ball, going down to a knee was Henwood. Now it's 1-2. if you're Smith here, you've got Henwood all out of sorts. You can go back to that breaking ball, which he clearly did not see well out of the hand. Or you can try to zip that fastball by him before he even knows what hit him. We'll see what Smith decides to go with here.
That breaking ball clocking in at 79 miles an hour.
With lots of movement. He does go to that breaking ball. It's grounded towards third. Blake Nelson Fields throws to Akeo Thomas covering second for the out there. Fielder's choice ends the inning. No runs for Nebraska on one hit. No errors by Michigan. One man left on base for the second straight inning for the Huskers. We'll head to the bottom of the second. The score, Nebraska 0, Michigan 0. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And Angelo Smith, 14 pitches that inning, now 32 through 2, getting closer to that 15th inning that you want to see. I know, obviously, bullpen arms, sometimes you can throw a little bit more than that inning because they're only going to throw a couple innings, and you're okay. But once again, if you're Eric Backich, you want Angelo Smith in as long as possible, and keeping those pitch counts between innings down, extremely important.
Also important for the Wolverines is going to be establishing their offense at some point early on here. We've seen what can happen in ball games when Michigan does not establish their offense early on. Notably, the very first game of this Big Ten tournament when they faced the Ohio State Buckeyes all the way back on Wednesday. That ball game, Michigan just scoring one run on one hit the entire ball game long. And then it took them about halfway through the ball game to score against Illinois as well the next day. Eventually got 5 and a walk-off win in that one, but certainly not without a controversial overturn of a replay that pretty much prevented Michigan from being shut out in that ball game. So they'd like to get started here early on, just as they did against Maryland yesterday and against Nebraska earlier on today. Potentially cruise to what were some comfortable wins over the last couple of days. They'd much prefer those over the walk-off win as they did to Illinois, even though it was a fun one. Eric Backich, I'm sure, would like to keep the stress levels down and make it to tomorrow. Save the drama for tomorrow's ball game at the very least. Miles Lewis, Blake Nelson, Joe Donovan due up for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the second inning. Lewis hit the ball hard a few times in the earlier ball game, 2 for 4. RBI, walk, run, filling up the stat sheet. He fouls one back just below us in the press box here. The count is 0-1. Lewis, the redshirt senior out of Hudson, Wisconsin, has been trying to prolong his career at Michigan. It appears him and the other seniors have done enough to do that. We believe they will be in the NCAA tournament come selection Monday in a couple days. He hits one high in the air towards the right side. Ranging over is Gomez near the wall, and that's going to get into the Husker fans. And the count is 0-2. I say the Husker fans, there are a couple Mays shirts scattered about in there, but certainly the minority in what can only be described, as I said earlier, a sea of red. Husker fans again clapping along here. So there's an 0-2 count on Miles Lewis. Winding up as Perry. The pitch misses high. It's 1-2.
Indeed, a sea of red. 1 or 2 Mays shirts over there on down the first base line. A couple of those maybe ushers, however, and there is a Mays contingent behind the Michigan dugout, including one gentleman in a very bright neon yellow shirt. Are you connected to him by any chance?
1-2 pitch. Miles Lewis misses high. It's 2-2 now. Yeah, that would be Mr. Tony Falco over there, a couple rows back amongst the Michigan crowd. Don't want to get him in trouble or anything, but that's not his seat. He just wants to be surrounded by that sea of red, wants to be among a few friendly faces. Either way, that Michigan contingent pretty quiet right now as Nebraska starts clapping for another 2-strike pitch. The 2-2 on the way. Misses high and away, ball 3.
And more dissent from the Husker faithful here at TD Ameritrade Park. Home plate umpire Mike Duffy not making a lot of friends here early on.
I do admire the Husker fans' loyalty and their dedication, their willingness to get into the ball game, but some of these kinds of calls they gripe about are not particularly close. 3-2 pitch to Miles Lewis, popped up on the infield, ranging out into the outfield grass is the second baseman Henwood. He'll make the play in the shadow of the light structures for the first out in the second.
And especially with the way the evening is going, the sun's starting to go down, the shadows moving across the field here at TD Ameritrade. Those pop-outs aren't going to be as easy as they look, and especially because and Michigan and Nebraska are not the ones responsible for this, but we have seen some very interesting moments in the outfield on fly balls throughout this tournament.
Yeah, we've certainly seen there's a reason Indiana is not here anymore. Minnesota's been able to stick in it, but they've had some egregious errors. Iowa is not excused from that either. They're also no longer here in Omaha. First pitch to Blake Nelson, misses high for a ball, 1-0, and that one, I think, deserved of a little griping from the Nebraska crowd. They get on Mike Duffy a bit, but the 1-0 pitch to Nelson, swing and a miss, that breaking ball moving down and in. It's 1-1. Nelson took until the very last inning to be the last Wolverine to get in the hit column earlier today. He did get on base before that with a couple walks and scored 2 runs in the ball game overall. But the stat line shows 1 for 4. He takes a pitch just outside, ball 2. The outside corner looked a little more generous in the first inning than it has here so far in the top of the second, or rather bottom of the second, as this 2-1 pitch is hit high in the air towards left field. Not seeing it for a moment is Hallmark. Now he ranges over towards center where the center fielder Ecker puts it away for out number 2.
And now Nebraska still cruising along in this inning. Kyle Perry has now thrown 24 pitches, 10 in this inning. And now will pitch to Joe Donovan, an opportunity to keep that pitch count down and keep the opener in the game as long as he can.
Joe Donovan, the Wolverine backstop, starting both games today. He was taken out about 2/3 of the way through the game earlier on today to maybe preserve him for this ball game tonight. First pitch to him was a called strike, 0-1. Right after the Wolverines really put things away with a 6-run six is when Joe Donovan came out the game and was replaced by Harrison Salter. 0-1 pitch to Donovan this time. Fastball just high. It's 1-1.
And there it is again, the anger from the Husker faithful.
Trying to figure out the strike zone here from Mike Duffy early. Looks like the outside corner is open for business. Above the belt is very much not so, as Donovan fouls another one back over the screen, and the count is now 1-2. I'm sure pitchers will feel him out a little more as the game goes along, but that's at least my initial impression here in the second inning.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Been a long day of baseball for the umpires included here in Omaha. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Donovan goes down on strikes. The second strikeout of the day for Kyle Perry. And the Wolverines go down 1-2-3 in the second inning. We will head to inning number 3. The score, Michigan 0, Nebraska 0. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And really, it hasn't just been a long day. It's been a long whole tournament overall for this umpiring crew. This umpiring crew has officiated every single game and taking turns at each of the positions. The crew reading Mike Duffy, Dave Condon, Eric Lovelace, and Jim Shaley. By and large, they've done a fairly decent job, of course, with the reviews. There was one we took exception to, Ben Mazinga being called out at second base earlier today in the game against Ohio State, and that call not going to review. But we have both said that you can probably put that more on the Minnesota coaching staff for not listening to their center fielder and calling for the review.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, this umpiring crew has been very, very good, and they are aided by the review process here at the Big Ten tournament. We do have review here as opposed to no reviewing in Big Ten play. The rules for it are 2 challenges per team before the 8th inning. So I know head coach Eric Bakich talked about a big play in the 7th inning against Illinois, a potential double play that was overturned and kept Michigan alive to score 3 that inning. He really didn't know whether it was safe or out, Dominic Clemente at first base, but he had a couple challenges to use before then, and he made the call, got it his way, and we talked about it in the post-game press conference with him. He was saying that's why the Big Ten needs replay, to get calls like that right. They can swing ball games, and it certainly swung that one. We could be watching the Illinois Fighting Illini here against the Huskers if not for that.
Indeed, of course, Eric Bakich, really throughout his career, been at the forefront of progress in baseball. Of course, we know him to be big into the analytics that have now effectively taken over the game of baseball, from both of our perspective, for the better. And Eric Bakich now very much in favor of instituting replay at the conference level.
Colby Gomez, the first baseman for Nebraska, steps in, takes a first pitch strike on the inside part of the plate, and it is 0-1 on the big first baseman. A height disparity here. He's had Angelo Smith 5'9" on the mound. Colby Gomez 6'5" at the plate. Sophomore to freshman. This one's fouled off down the right field line, out of play, and now it's 0-2. And a drop by a Husker fan in the first row. He is on his knees now, head slung over the railing, getting some jeers from the fellow Husker fans. Now the attention turns back to Gomez at the plate. 0-2. Check swing. Did he go around? He did go around, says Mike Duffy. That's strike 3. Donovan slaps the tag on him. And there's one out in the third off of Angelo K's third strikeout of the day.
And if you'd also like to talk about height disparities relating to Kobe Gomez is also 6'5", but he shares the same walk-up song as Wolverines second baseman Akeo Thomas, who stands at 5'7".
There's going to be a height disparity with most guys when it comes to Kobe Gomez's 6'5" frame over there. There's a reason he plays first base and has a nice big range. Back to the top of the order for Nebraska is Jackson Hallmark. Swings and misses at a ball just at his knees. It's now 0-1. Smith pitching lefty to righty here. Puts the glove up above his, or right in front of his face as he winds up in the 0-1 pitch. It's popped off the end of the bat over a stretching Angelo Smith to Jack Blomgren, charging in, makes the throw on the run for the out. A nice play by Jack Blomgren there. Had to feel on the short hop rather. Very much could have gone wrong and gotten past him into left center field. Probably would have been 2 bases then. Indeed. For Hallmark with the speed.
Indeed, Blomgren has been great all tournament long in playing defense at shortstop. The one criticism I would have for him this season, in this tournament, contradicted with Blake Nelson's, Blomgren too many times has been content to just let the ball come to him. This time, excellent work to make the charge.
Cam Chick grounds towards the right side. Diving stop by Jimmy Kerr. He throws to Angelo Smith covering. Not in time. Chick beats him to first base.
And that's a fantastic play by Jimmy Kerr. And a good move by Angelo Smith to get over, but unfortunately, there you see the lack of height starting to work against Angelo Smith in the field there.
Angelo Smith not quite fast enough getting over there, and also limping, or looks like he's just limping just ever so slightly walking away there. Stepped a little awkwardly on that first base bag trying to beat out Chick. Really was no contest. Kerr was playing so far away from first base, he had to wait so long to get that ball to Smith. By the time Smith got it, he had to take a couple steps and couldn't get to the bag.
Indeed, that throw also a little bit behind Angelo Smith.
First pitch here, Aaron Polensky goes high and off the glove of Joe Donovan to the backstop, so Chick will make his way to second base on the wild pitch. That fastball by Angelo Smith firing off the mark, and now Jimmy Kerr's going to walk over and talk to him, maybe see if he's all right. Smith is still stretching out that leg on the mound. I'm surprised we haven't seen Eric Bakich or Kim Hill, the athletic trainer, walk out to check on him. Smith seems content to just get out there and pitch. He's working from the stretch now with the runner on. The runner in scoring position. Gamchik has speed. He will score on a single from Polensky. Polensky looking to give Nebraska their first lead of the day. The 1-0 pitch misses down in the dirt. It's now 2-0. As mentioned, Michigan hopped out 7-0 earlier. It really didn't give Nebraska a chance to have any sort of lead in the earlier ball game. Well, the Huskers' best hitter with a chance here. 2-0 pitch to him. Misses low and away, ball 3.
And this is where you start to, and honestly you shouldn't do this, but this is where you start to think about the missed tag by Angelo Smith. They're not getting able to first base. And he even reached out for the tag, but not able to connect with Schick.
3-0 pitch to Polensky. I'd give him the green light here. I think you know that, Nick. Big proponent of that. We'll see what Nebraska has in store for him. Smith comes set, 3-0 pitch. He does have the green light, and he fouls it off the end of the bat towards the Husker dugout. It's now 3-1.
Well, you have something in common with Nebraska head coach Darren Erstad there, giving Polensky the green light. However, if anybody in that lineup deserves to have the 3-0 green light, it is Aaron Polensky, hitting .332 on the season. Yeah,
coming in, batting a hit every 3 times he takes a at-bat at the plate. Gonna get a good pitch there. Your best hitter in the lineup might as well try to get the lead. 3-1 pitch here. Misses down and in, ball 4. He'll take his base instead. Runners on first and second here. 2 outs in the third. That'll bring up Angelo Altavilla. Altavilla is 0 for 1 today. He struck out swinging back in the first inning. Angelo Smith's first strikeout victim of the day. He's got 3 altogether thus far through 2 2/3 innings. Angelo Smith's pitch count now up at 44 here in the third inning. Husker fans making some noise now, still trickling in as we get later on into this ball game. Smith checks the runner on second. First pitch here to Altavilla. It's fouled off to the right side, bouncing off the rope that holds up the screen and into the stands. Count is now 0-1. Altavilla, the senior out of Lakeville, Minnesota, will have a chance to continue his Husker career, but looking to can make his Big Ten career last a little bit longer. As Smith checks the runner, now 0-1 pitch to him. Misses down and in. Nice stop by Joe Donovan to keep the runners where they are, and the count is 1-1.
And it's hard to say now, but it looks like Angelo Smith still might be affected either physically or mentally by that missed tag. He has not been able to find the zone really at all since then.
Yeah, really just hasn't looked comfortable on the mound consistently delivering pitches since he did step awkwardly on that first base bag trying to cover and record the out on Schick. 1-1 pitch here. Breaking ball called. Strike two. Husker fans not happy, but Smith is really bending that breaking ball into the zone. Something you don't see a whole lot is that breaking ball into the zone. A lot of times pitchers like to use it breaking out of the zone to get chases. Smith using it effectively here.
Well, Angelo Smith there. A lot of pitchers use their breaking ball, try to induce the chase, as you said. Angelo Smith instead using his breaking ball, going off speed to try and freeze opponents.
1-2 pitch, tapper towards left side, foul. I was going to get down the left field line. Could have scored one, maybe two, but just a bit foul there, and the count will remain 1-2 on Altavilla.
And a bit of confusion there as Miles Lewis flipping the ball into a group of kids out there, but none of them able to make the play as Nelson has to go back, retrieve the ball, and hand it to one of the kids.
Just delaying this game a little bit further. Just what we need more delays today.
I believe I may have said Nelson. I meant Miles Lewis.
Angelo Smith looks in for the sign. Big 1-2 pitch here. Choking up on the bat is Altavilla. Lefty to righty, the pitch. Hit high in the air towards the left side, but that's going to get foul out of play behind the Michigan dugout. And the count will remain 1-2.
And that was Angelo Smith's 48th pitch of the game. This is where you start watching him, and you see in the last couple batters, he hasn't looked quite as confident. This is where, if you're head coach Eric Backich, you start looking, and maybe after this inning, you start moving players into the bullpen.
That was actually pitch 49, so we're going to get to even number 50 here coming up as he delivers to Altavilla. Tries to get on the outside corner, cannot get the call. Ball two. Walking off already was Joe Donovan, the catcher. He thought he framed that right on that outside corner. But Mike Duffy ruled it did miss off the edge. The count even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Smith's credit, he didn't start walking off the mound quite yet. It was catcher Donovan that was a little more sure than Smith on the mound, so not trying to show up Mike Duffy was Smith. He throws a high fastball now, and the count is 3-2.
And now, really nervous moment here. Full count, runners on first and second, 2 outs. Angelo Smith 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. That is looked increasingly nervy since that infield single at first base. And now Nebraska in real danger of taking the lead.
3-2 pitch, 2 outs. The runners will be on the move. It's Schick at second, Palencia at first. Both have plenty of speed. 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air to the left side. That's going to be foul. It gets into the seats in the upper deck, and the count will remain 3-2 on the third baseman for Nebraska. A long at-bat here. Already 8 pitches thrown to Altavilla by Smith.
And the ball landed in a luxury box that nobody is in. But ultimately,
that's a free baseball. I better run down and grab
it. A good Samaritan has moved into the luxury box, retrieved it, and given it to a kid in the section below.
All right, fair enough.
I would have let you take a break from the broadcast and go after that, by the way.
3-2 pitch. It's the ground ball towards third. Blake Nelson fields. Can he get to third in time? He tags the bag. Safe at third is a sliding Schick. Blake Nelson thinks he got there. He dove and tapped the bag with his glove. Eric Backich out of the dugout, possibly asking for a review.
Yep, he makes the signal. That's getting reviewed.
I think the entire Michigan dugout thought that wasn't out. A tough call there for the third base umpire, Jim Shaley. He's behind the third base bag. Can't exactly see when Nelson taps it when the foot of Schick gets there.
At the first look on our screen up here, I'm in agreement with Jim Shaley. I think Schick may have beaten that out. And Nelson Comes over. Oh, yep, he's safe.
Oof, that is awfully close, but yeah, I do think he's safe. This is another instance perhaps where Eric Bakich is just seeing if he can get that call. Perhaps an ill-advised play by Blake Nelson to try to take the out at third instead of making the long throw to first base. It's going to be bases loaded here for the Huskers.
Indeed, and Nelson, when he makes the play, he doesn't even seem to have all that much urgency when trying to break for third base, and Schick really does see it, and Schick makes an excellent slide trying to lay out, and you see there Schick with the foot on the bag. He's a good quarter of a second ahead of Blake Nelson.
That is as close as you are going to see as a bang-bang play. Nelson diving in with the glove, Schick sliding in foot first. The only question is, did the very tip of Nelson's glove perhaps either hit the bag before the foot got there, or maybe even hit the foot of Schick as it was sliding in before it hit the top of the bag? I don't think it did. I'm pretty confident this one's going to stand as a safe call for Shaley.
Indeed, Nelson kind of took the wrong angle. Looked like he may have been better served trying to go to tag Schick himself instead of going for the bag. But either way, an excellent hustle play by Cam Schick, and once again, a fine margin miscue, and it is declared safe. A miscue on the fine margins by the Michigan defense, and huge swing of momentum for the Huskers, and potentially disastrous for Angelo Smith as Chris Fetter are going to come out to the mound to talk it over with his pitcher.
Yeah, officially a fielder's choice for Altavilla, and again, you got to think about Blake Nelson. Probably should just made the long throw to first base with the runners moving on the 3-2 pitch. It looked like he almost didn't realize the runners were moving as he started to pick the ball up and go towards third base. As you mentioned, not a sense of urgency until he saw Cam Schick bearing in on that third base bag, and then tried to sprint and get there, but did not get there in time as Chris Fetter will meet on the mound with Angelo Smith and Joe Donovan. After he departs, the third baseman Blake Nelson going to come over, give a little tap of the glove, apologize to Angelo Smith for keeping him in this inning, and ask him maybe if Angelo Smith can get him out of the jam and get him off the hook here. Big moment early on in this ball game. Bases loaded, top of the third inning, 2 outs. Nebraska looking to take the lead. It'll be the shortstop Spencer Schwellenbach. 0 for 1 today, struck out looking on a good breaking ball from Angelo Smith last inning in the second. Smith comes set, lefty to righty, the pitch. Fastball called, strike one at the belt.
And that's exactly what Angelo Smith needed. First pitch strike, get back in this game. Looked like Angelo Smith's been taken out of it a little bit, but now he has the opportunity to reestablish himself, try and get this batter out and move over to the next inning.
Smith coming set, 0-1 pitch. This one's grounded towards third. Nelson gets another chance. It gets by him in left field. 1 run scores. Lewis Fields, the throw towards home is going to be all the way there, but late. 2-run score. Nebraska leads 2-0 here in the top of the third inning.
And Blake Nelson is going to look bad in this sequence. First, the lack of urgency at third base. That one really just looked like it gets under him, but that's another hard-hit ball given up by Angelo Smith. And really, the difference so far in the top of this inning, it looks like Nebraska's hitters and base runners have wanted it much more than Michigan's defense. They even looked a little bit complacent at times, content to let the game come to them instead of going on and seizing the game the way they did earlier.
Yeah, Blake Nelson sitting back on the one. It is a base hit for Schwellenbach, 2 RBIs for the shortstop. And runners on first and second now. 2-0 lead for Nebraska. Luke Roscom coming to the plate as the Go Big Red Chants fire up here in TD Ameritrade Park. Roscom's 0 for 1 with the ground out to short so far in this one. First pitch this time from Smith catches the outside corner. It's 0-1 on the big catcher. Roscom 6'2", 218, the junior out of Chaska, Minnesota. Bats lefty, throws righty as a catcher. A .229 batting average on the season after going 0 for 1 today. Smith comes set, checks the runner at second. 0-1 pitch. Fastball called, strike 2. Right down the middle there. I don't know if Roscom just isn't seeing the ball or expecting something different from Smith, as Smith has been able to mix up that fastball and curveball in different counts. Maybe Roscom was guessing on the curve. As such, he's now down 0-2. Smith looks into Donovan for the sign. Hunched over with that glove at his chest, his left arm dangling in front of him. Now he comes slight close stance towards the plate. Checks the runner. 0-2. Breaking ball misses low and away. It's 1-2. Looked like a slider there from Smith, trying to get the chase out of Roscom. Roscom's seen that pitch before earlier on in the at-bat, or earlier on in the last at-bat when he swung through it. Recognized it there, watched it go by for ball 1. Smith comes set 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss there, and a big breaking ball. Strike 3. Angelo Smith gets his 4th strikeout of the day, but the Nebraska Cornhuskers scored 2 runs that inning on 2 hits. There is no errors for the Wolverines, and Nebraska strands 2. We will head to the bottom of the 3rd. First lead of the day for the Cornhuskers, 2-0 over the Michigan Wolverines. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
No doubt an extremely frustrating inning there from the for the Wolverine faithful, as there are several different ways that inning could have gone differently. As at first, the beat-out single at first base, a great defensive play by Jimmy Kerr trying to lay out, and the flip over to Angelo Smith. The throw a little bit behind him, Angelo Smith not able to get over to the bag in time, and then Blake Nelson taking the grounder at third base, really oblivious to Cam Schick charging at the bag, and Nelson himself getting beat out, and then Nelson letting a hard-hit ground ball get underneath him into left field, allowing 2 runs to score. And so far, those 3 plays, any one of them goes differently, then it's still a scoreless game. But now Nebraska out in front with a 2-run lead.
And for Nebraska in firm control now, you got to imagine a shutdown inning here would go a huge way towards solidifying momentum in favor of the Big Red. Got the Big Red versus the Blue today. The second time today with 4 games, it turns out, we're going to have here on Semifinal Saturday. We could have anywhere from 2 to 4 games. Had Nebraska or Ohio State won earlier on today, they would not have to play a second game, but Michigan able to get the earlier game. They play right now, and after us, since Minnesota beat the Buckeyes before this ball game began, they'll have a reprise of that action.
And something to note, Angelo Smith now through 3 innings has thrown 59 pitches. It could be so much less due to those plays and a couple others in the first inning, but Angelo Smith at 59 pitches, still nobody up and on their way to the Michigan bullpen. Eric Bakich looks content to keep Angelo Smith in the game at least for the start of the 4th inning.
And he hasn't pitched bad, as you said. The plays that have been bad, 3 ground balls that probably should have been outs. Christian Bullock squares around a bunt on the first pitch he sees. It misses high on the fastball. It's 1-0.
Now, the infield signal, honestly, there's probably not a whole lot you can do about that. Angelo Smith, of course, standing a mere 5'9", not quite as capable of ranging over to the bag as some pitchers with longer strides.
Second pitch to Christian Bullock, line towards right field. Going back is the right fielder, Polensky, making the grab just in front of the track for out number 1. Tough luck there for Christian Bullock, who hits another ball hard. He's on fire today since being put back in the lineup.
And Christian Bullock taking that helmet off authoritatively. No doubt he is frustrated. Can't be too dissimilar to the way Jordan Wogu was for his first at-bat of the game. Hard hit ball launched into deep center field.
They bring up Akeo Thomas here with 1 out, no one on in the bottom of the 3rd inning, looking to get things started for the Wolverines. And for the Huskers, all that started with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Michigan had a ton of success with 2 outs earlier on in the ball game today. Akeo Thomas squares around a bunt here, pulls back, and the count is 1-0 on him. Thomas with a couple hits earlier in the ball game today, 2 for 5, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, as the 1-0 pitch just missed, and now it's 2-0.
And Akeo Thomas squaring around to bunt there for the second time in the at-bat. A bit strange because he squares around and then it pulls away. Looked like even before the pitch had come out of Kyle Perry's hand.
2-0 pitch missed high. Not squaring around that time was Thomas, and now it is 3-0 on the diminutive second baseman for Michigan. As you mentioned earlier, stands just 5'7". The senior out of Chicago, Illinois, takes a 3-1 pitch, called, strike at the knees on the outside corner. Doesn't like the call. He's ready to toss that bat back towards the Michigan dugout, head on down to first. We'll have to wait a little bit longer as it is a 3-1 count.
Well, now the Husker faithful love Mike Duffy. That one very likely the right call as well.
Lefty-righty 3-1 pitch misses way high. No doubt about that one, as Thomas now can jog down to first base with a walk. 1 out here, 1 runner on in the 3rd for Jordan Wogu. A dangerous hitter right now is Wogu. Seems to come through exactly when Michigan wants a few RBIs. Back in that Illinois game, the walk-off 2-run double, and ever since then he has been hitting the ball hard, including a 2-run home run earlier on today. Part of a 3-hit effort for him in which he drove in 4, scored 2. Also walked on the, he's seen the ball very well right now out of Husker hands. He also hit a hard hit ball to center that was tracked down by Acker in the first inning. This time he grounds to the first baseman. Boblo there by Gomez, so he'll take the out at first and not even bother trying to turn 2. 3 unassisted there as Thomas moves up into scoring position, but there are 2 outs in the inning.
Well, they got lucky. They got very lucky there as Gomez booting the ball over at first base. Good instinctive play by Gomez over to move over to first base. I know it's not uncommon to see some first basemen try and get overly ambitious and try and complete the double play over at second base, but good instinctive play. Nebraska in good position to strand Akeo Thomas at second.
Jesse Franklin at the plate now for Michigan. Tough lefty-lefty matchup for him. He struck out swinging against Perry in the first inning. If he can come through here for the Wolverines, it would go huge towards getting a little momentum back, but he swings and misses at a high fastball. It's 0-1 on him. And Perry just has stuff that is fooling Franklin at the moment.
Yeah, Jesse Franklin's had a bit of a rough tournament so far. He went 1 for 6 in the early game today against Nebraska.
Did hit a hard fly ball to the wall, so a little tough luck there. 0-1 pitch to him this time. Tries to go high again, but doesn't get the chase, and now it's 1-1. Huskers thought it was a strike, but Mike Duffy ruled it missed high. So the count evened up 1 ball and 1 strike on the Michigan sophomore center fielder. Thomas takes a short lead off second, being held on by the shortstop Schwellenbach. 1-1 pitch, line towards right field. This is going to hang up long enough for Polensky to make a grab. He's going to play it on a hop. Akeo Thomas is coming home. There's going to be a play at the plate. The throw home is not in time. Akeo Thomas slides in safely ahead of the tag. Michigan cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1 on an RBI single for Jesse Franklin.
And that could have gone wrong so many different ways. Akeo Thomas looked like he held up coming around third before ultimately coming home. And at first it looked like the throw was going to be way off target, but then it hit Roscom on Thomas's route, and Thomas coming right past him, and Roscom just misses the tag.
Yeah, just a slight bit too late and up the third base line. Had that been a perfect throw at the plate, probably would have gotten Thomas. As it stands, Roscom did have to run up towards third base a bit, and by the time he flipped his mitt around, Thomas already passed him and sliding his hand across home plate. Now to bring up Jack Blomgren, who's red hot right now, 1-for-1 with a single in the first inning. Takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike from Perry this time. 0-1 on the sophomore shortstop for the Wolverines. Franklin over that first, probably not going anywhere. He's 4-for-4 on stolen bases, although the last of those 4, a very generous one against Maryland. He got picked off and somehow slid in safely at second base. Blomgren fouls it off the end of the bat off to the right side, and it is now 0-2 on him. Ball bounces away from some folks in the upper deck and down to the lower deck, hence the small bit of oohs and ahs. But now we have a 2-strike count here. Haven't had one yet this inning, but the Husker fans are getting into it now, trying to get out of the inning with just a 1 run coming across to score for Michigan. And still holding lead are the Huskers. Said most of the Husker fans on the right side, a lot behind the plate as well, a ton behind the plate. Some off to the left side in the Michigan dugout, and a few scattered in the outfield, most of the first few rows trying to catch a home run ball. Jack Blomgren's down the count, 0-2 the pitch to him. It's bounced off the end of the bat towards the left side. Trying to make the play is the pitcher, Perry. He throws to first in time to get Blomgren by a step. Nice mobility by Perry to make the play and get out of the inning. 1-3 on the putout. But Michigan does score 1 run in that bottom half of the third. They do it on 1 hit. No errors, 1 man left on base. We will head to the 4th inning of action. Nebraska leads Michigan by a score of 2-1. Here on the official student radio broadcast of Michigan Baseball, you're listening to WCBN Sports.
And yes, few fans out in the outfield. Look like they're all Husker fans. I see one Mays shirt out there, but again, mostly Husker fans, and no fans out there until today, and with good reason. The wind has largely Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday largely precluded any home runs from being hit, particularly out in right field, but the power cranked up today. A couple home runs in both games earlier today in both Michigan, Nebraska, and Ohio State, Minnesota, as Daniel Thompson steps into the broadcast booth for this evening for the first time.
Yep, happy to be here after a long broadcast we had earlier this morning. That one went for 4 hours and 13 minutes in total. So good to get at least another couple hours in here of broadcasting. So looking forward to this. Things kind of really heated up here in the third inning, 2-1, and I notice now Nebraska's yet to. They've got people sitting on the bench within their bullpen. Michigan has about 3 people over in the bullpen. Looks like someone is about to start warming up. Angelo Smith, definitely looked rattled in that inning, but and was charged with 2 earned runs, but a lot of that was not his fault. Blake Nelson was in a difficult situation twice, and twice either did not make the play or made the wrong call. I think on that Cam Chick slide into third, he could have either gone for Cam Chick directly or even just gotten more conservative and waited to and stepped into his throw to first and would have beaten the runner there to first. I think he could have done either of those things, and that would have kept 2 runs off the board. But that Akeo Thomas run there at the end of the third inning, I think, was big for the Wolverines, rather.
And Angelo Smith, the first pitch to Joe Acker, fouled down the third base line. As you said, there is action there is at least a presence in the Michigan bullpen. Reserve catcher Casey Buckley out there with a couple bullpen arms. You have to imagine Ben Kaiser and Joe Pace are out there, perhaps candidates to come in a little later in this game. But so far, fourth inning is Angelo Smith's. And now the 0-1 delivery on its way to Acker. Acker squares around to bunt, pulls away, but a called strike 2 nonetheless.
And Angelo Smith now getting up 0-2 in the count. And I think he's able to settle in more now, especially with that Akeo Thomas run earlier, cutting this to a 1-run ball game.
0-2 delivery, fastball high for a ball, and Joe Acker back in the count as Angelo Smith going to have to go to work.
And with this home crowd getting really loud here for the Huskers, I think for a moment there, Michigan kind of felt this game slipping away from them.
1-2 pitch swung on and fouled straight back, straight at us, but about 50 feet in front as it will drop into the lower concourse.
Too bad. Still haven't gotten a souvenir ball yet in this tournament, but Michigan fighting on. Got a few more innings at least for sure to maybe get that ball. And maybe, who knows, maybe a chance on Sunday too.
And Angelo Smith comes set, the 1-2 delivery once again, and this one high. Joe Donovan having to jump out of his stance to keep that one from getting behind him.
And that was part of what caused a 2 runs to be scored last inning. Cam Chick advancing on a high pitch above Joe Donovan's reach.
And now the 2-2 delivery swung on and missed, and Angelo Smith gets Joe Acker to swing at the breaking ball that starts in the zone and drops out. Angelo Smith able to mix up his location very effectively so far, as now Alex Henwood will step into the left-handed batter's box to face the left-handed pitcher, Angelo Smith.
And getting a strikeout there, I think, is big. It's 5th of the game, actually, for Angelo Smith. I don't think he can give Michigan too many more innings because he's already up to 64 pitches now, but...
And pitch number 65, swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. Did Alex Henwood.
After coming up empty on that attempt to beat the runner to first base last inning, he certainly looked rattled. I think he has found his groove again, now only having to defend a 1-run deficit.
0-1 pitch over the head of Alex Henwood. And just as you say that, almost a scary situation right there.
Yeah, and that was by far his worst pitch of the day, going way over the head of Joe Donovan.
And there is somebody up in the Michigan bullpen throwing. Can't see who that is. That is a righty, so it is not Ben Kaiser. As the 1-2 pitch is shot straight up the middle to Jack Blomgren. Blomgren, the routine throw over to first, and Jimmy Kerr having to stretch a little bit, but staying on the bag, and now 2 away in the top of the 4th.
Yep, the yellow line on top of the fence kind of blocks us from seeing who exactly that is warming up, but he is now moving toward the bench, facing toward the infield, but he's going to sit down. So no immediate substitution right now for Angelo Smith, as no one is currently warming up in the bullpen, neither bullpen with any activity going on, just a couple of players sitting in on the bench.
And Kobe Gomez will step into the batter's box, struck out swinging his first time up, and first pitch in the dirt, check swing does not go around. And Angelo Smith finding himself behind 1-0.
Important there to get more soft contact, staying ahead in this one, 2 out. Of course, that's when things kind of unraveled for the Michigan defense. Still not charged with any errors, but 3 really situations where there was suboptimal fielding.
And now Joe Donovan will come out to the mound to talk it over with Angelo Smith, and it looks like I'm not sure if that's a groundskeeper. Oh, it's just coming over to mediate a conversation between home plate umpire Mike Duffy and third base umpire Jim Shaley. Not sure what they're talking about over there, but
looks like they were looking for a second opinion on if the check swing was in time. Deferring over to first base umpire Dave Condon, who confirms he did not. He checked a swing in time, and it will be a 1-0 count.
not something you see often there.
No, yeah,
Today, having to meet instead of just the point and the signal.
yeah, for sure. Not
Right.
sure what was the holdup, but nonetheless,
Either way,
1-0.
Angelo Smith comes set. The 1-0 delivery is high for ball 2, and Angelo Smith behind 2-0 because the high fastball to Colby Gomez.
Yep, he's been up for most of this inning. We'll see if he can get back ahead in this count.
And the 2-0 delivery, Smith working quickly, and another one in the dirt, and suddenly Angelo Smith in danger of issuing a free pass to Colby Gomez.
Yep, getting up to pitch 70 now, too. I don't know if he has another complete inning in him right now, but has a good chance to quickly get out of the fourth inning here on not too many pitches. I think about 20 right now.
Gomez unlikely to have the green light. The 3-0 pitch is inside. He lost in ball 4. And
All right, well, 1 on.
now Nebraska, for the 4th inning in a row, has a base runner. And now the top of the order, Jackson Hallmark, will come back to the plate for the Cornhuskers.
Hallmark not a prolific hitter. You really want to end any kind of run here, any kind of rally here from the Huskers before they get into the real meat of it. Cam Chick, Aaron Polensky, Big Ten all second teamers. But we'll see if the Texan Jackson Hallmark can leave a mark here.
And Hallmark, a high fly ball into shallow right field. It looks like it will be Christian Bullock who will range over. And Christian Bullock, a little bit of tension there between him and Jesse Franklin.
Yep.
But Bullock able to make the catch. And that will end the top of the 4th inning. Angelo Smith does not give up any runs after issuing the free pass to Colby Gomez. As that will end the top of the 4th inning. We will head to the bottom. Michigan have an opportunity to bat with the score still Nebraska 2, Michigan 1.
And a very efficient at-bat right there for Angelo Smith, getting rid of Jackson, getting rid of, excuse me, Jackson Hallmark. Lost my train of thought there for a second, but when one pitch gets rid of him, and that will certainly help lower those total pitches. I know it's going to sound like a broken record throughout this broadcast, but that is going to be the story of the night, as these teams are thin in their bullpens, not really able to reach back to Wednesday's starters yet.
And you have some more movement over to the Michigan bullpen. Angelo Smith now thrown 74 pitches, and there's some more stretching going on there. Would not surprise me to see Angelo Smith stay in the dugout for the remainder of this game, but Kyle Perry still going strong for the Cornhuskers as he is about to start his 4th inning of work, and Jimmy Kerr will lead off the 4th.
Yep, neither of these two pitchers were really expected to go very long, and they've both done a pretty good job so far, surrendering only 3 runs in total through 4.5. 3.5 rather, but Angelo Smith, I think, was quite unfortunate. There was just a lot of Michigan runners really wanting it more, just being smarter than Husker runners, I should say, than Michigan fielders. And I think that's really how we got to the situation with the Huskers up 2-1. But I think that 1-run inning there is going to help Michigan settle in, not have any sense of urgency. And Jimmy Kerr, who has been really solid all tournament long, going to have a chance to start things off right for the Huskers, for the Wolverines. Keep mixing those up.
And now Jimmy Kerr will stand in the left-handed batter's box to face down Kyle Perry for the 2nd time. Kerr grounding out to second base. First at-bat of the game. And Jimmy Kerr squaring around to bunt, pulls away in time. Ball 1.
Wise decision there. A lot of Michigan batters right now showing bunts early on, even with no one out.
And now the 1-0 pitch to Kerr is in the dirt, and Jimmy Kerr finding himself out ahead. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yep, Jimmy Kerr getting behind in this one. Now he is way ahead of Angelo Smith in the terms of the pitch count game. Only at 43 right now. 44 rather.
2-0 is called. Strike 1 in the outer half of the plate. And just like that, Kyle Perry is back in the count.
Looks like we have another pitcher running toward.
Indeed, that is Benjamin
Yep.
Kaiser moving from the dugout over to the Michigan bullpen. 2-1 delivery is outside, 3-1.
And a little bit of wind right now moving toward right field, which is a bit of a change, but a really nice breeze up here in the press box. Weather should not be much of a factor in this one, as the offenses are both trying to get started.
And the 3-1 delivery fouled straight back to the net behind home plate by Jimmy Kerr, and the count is now worked full.
Yep, 2-0 start, but now Kerr is facing a full count with none on, no out.
Jimmy Kerr been seeing the ball well all tournament long, and the payoff pitch from Perry is high and outside. Ball 4, Jimmy Kerr is on first base for the first time in this game.
And that's exactly how last inning started, a Michigan batter getting walked to start it off, and then last time, Akeo Thomas ended up cashing that in for a run. So not a bad way to get situated here and maybe tie things up just about halfway through this ball game.
And now it will be Miles Lewis who will step up to batter's box, pop out to second in his first at-bat.
Yeah, the only 2 hits in this game coming from Michigan bats belonging to Jesse Franklin and Blomgren, batting back-to-back.
And Perry comes set, eyes Kerr at first. The first pitch to Lewis. Lewis swings on it, and it will be put high in the air, and it will fall just foul of first base, and Gomez will range over for the quick out, and 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Much easier play for Gomez than Wogu gave him last inning. Wogu bolted that right at Gomez, but it was so hard he could not force a double play, and that ultimately let Akeo Thomas score. Now Michigan unable to advance a runner with that at bat, and the issue is now belonging to Nelson. We'll see what he can do to try to net this game up. Blake Nelson, of course, has a little bit of redemption to be done.
Indeed, Blake Nelson had a bit of a remote thrower of a performance in the top of the 3rd inning in defense. Pair of mistakes out there at the hot corner, but now with the tying run at first base, Perry eyes Kerr, takes a bit of a jump. Now comes set. The first pitch is low and away. Ball 1 to Blake Nelson.
Michigan doing a good job getting ahead of these counts, forcing Kerr to keep throwing and trying to just get deeper and deeper into that Nebraska dugout, bullpen rather.
And Perry comes set. 1-0 delivery is inside at the knees, and Nelson had to back off the plate a little bit there, but once again the count now 2-0.
Yep, just adding on to that pitch count and getting ahead in these counts the way Michigan wants to start off.
And now Perry comes set again. Looks at Kerr. Now that a 2-0 delivery is high, 3-0, and now Perry is 1 pitch away from putting runners at first and second by way of the base on balls.
And we do have a man warming up in the Husker bullpen. I'll try to get that number. Can't quite make it out right now. We'll see if Perry needs relief in this inning. Both of these bullpens.
We discussed at the top of the broadcast that Kyle Perry might have a short leash, but short mound meeting between Perry and his catcher, Luke Roscom, but now they appear to be on the same page. The count 3-0 to Blake Nelson might just be Roscom coming out to Perry to just tell him what pitch to throw and where to without having to worry about the signal. And Perry comes set, looks at Kerr. Kerr jumps 3-0 delivery and pops in and out of the glove as Nelson will take his base.
Well, whatever they discussed, it didn't exactly work.
And now it will be Joe Donovan who will come to the plate. Joe Donovan struck out swinging in his first plate appearance of the evening.
Robbie Palkert looks to be the junior right-handed pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Huskers. No activity right now in the Michigan bullpen as the entire infield comes in, as well as Nebraska's head coach come in for a meeting at the mound.
And now a mound meeting. I don't think that's Darren Erdstad.
Yeah, I think.
I think that is actually, I believe that is actually Associate Head Coach Ted Silva. No, it is Darren Erdstad, as Erdstad makes the call to the pen, and Kyle Perry's day is done. He will walk over to the mound He has given up 1 run, but that run being earned. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 hits, 3 1/3 innings pitched. However, he is responsible for both Jimmy Kerr at second and Blake Nelson at first.
He is, and yeah, that should those guys be driven in by for Robbie Palkert, then he will not take all the heat for that, not being assessed the earned runs. So we'll have to see what comes of this.
All right, and Nebraska has used the opener. Kyle Perry threw 53 pitches.
A little bit unfair to give the opener designation. 4 1/3 inning, not stellar, but a bit more than just an opener. Wouldn't really call it a closer if you pitched 4 1/3, but.
And now, Robbie Palkert, right-handed pitcher, will step on the rubber, plays the extreme first base side, taking a couple warm-up pitches as Nebraska's infield looks on the outfield, standing out in center field, commiserating, as it will be Joe Donovan who will come to the plate once home plate umpire Mike Duffy rules that everything is ready to continue.
Worth noting, barring a double play, Christian Bullock, a lefty, will be coming up next to the bat after Joe Donovan, so we'll see how that factors into it, and I'm sure Palkert is at least hoping to be around for Jesse Franklin and Jimmy Kerr, fellow lefties. Before they're up to the bat, so we'll see how that comes into play at all.
And Palkert taking his time with the warm-up pitches, as now Jimmy Kerr moving back out to second base, possibly trying to hurry along this process, and now the rest of Michigan's infield, Blake Nelson, moving back over to first base, and the first and third base coaches are now set.
Yep, they look to be.
Nebraska's infield taking their positions.
A little bit of an exchange going on at second base right now. Looks friendly, but
between Jimmy Kerr and Alex Henwood. Baseball players never known for being afraid of a little friendly chat, maybe some good-hearted banter.
Not at all.
On the bases. As now Joe Donovan will step up to the right-handed batter's box, as Palkert looking back out at his outfield, as well as his shortstop, Schwellenbach, to go over a few things, presumably, and now he will step up to the rubber to face Joe Donovan. And Palkert looking back at Jimmy Kerr at second base. Kerr not really a threat to steal, but has jumped a couple times trying to get the pitcher to flinch, maybe force a balk. And now Palkert comes at the first pitch to Donovan, and a false start. Looked like Mike Duffy had ruled that they were not quite ready to continue.
Okay, so not on Palkert's accord there.
And after that false start, Palkert comes set. First pitch to Donovan. Donovan swung on and fouled straight back. And that will land about 30 feet in front of us.
Yep, lands right at the front fence of the second deck before it falls down right behind home plate. Trickles down the stairs.
And 2 on, 1 out here. 0-1 to Joe Donovan. And Palkert comes set. Eyes Kerr at second base. And will try and catch Kerr sleeping at second base, and that was a close play,
Yeah.
Jimmy Kerr safely back at second base.
Gives you an idea of what Palkert might have been talking to with his infielders. It's been no secret at all that Bakich has been very aggressive with his base runners so far. Nearly caught Kerr.
Indeed, Alex Henwood playing close. As now Palkert will come set. Now the 0-1 delivery, and swung on and fouled over to the Michigan dugout by Joe Donovan, and Joe Donovan now down to his last strike.
Yeah, in real danger of striking out both of his first 2 appearances at the plate.
And now Palkert toes the rubber, staring down his catcher Roscom. And there's the applause from the Husker faithful. Come set. Palkert eyeing Kerr, now the 0-2 delivery, swung on, and the bit of confusion there, fouled off the end of the bat by Joe Donovan. No, actually, a strikeout. Joe Donovan is out. However, Jimmy Kerr able to advance over to third on the, I believe that, not sure whether that will be called a wild pitch. Jimmy Kerr advancing to third on a wild pitch. Now runners on the corners, 2 outs. Christian Bullock is up to bat.
Yep, and it looks like Joe Donovan either was trying to just distract the catcher and help his teammate advance, or just didn't realize with that runner on first, he could not advance to first himself on the third and final strike. So 2 out runners on the corners here for Christian Bullock.
And Bullock, a hard hit ball to right field in his first plate appearance, ultimately a fly out to Aaron Polensky. And the first pitch is down and inside, ball 1 to Christian Bullock. Christian Bullock, an opportunity to tie this game up at least for the Wolverines with 2 outs and a runner on third base.
He's been hitting them hard here. Earlier today, when he wasn't getting hits, they were going into the outfield always.
Palkert comes set. 1-0 delivery, low in the dirt. Bullock up 2-0 now.
Being quite patient right now. We'll see if that pays off. Chance at a loaded bases here with 2 out. Maybe setting up senior Akeo Thomas with the bases loaded.
Now the 2-0 delivery to Bullock, swung on and fouled to the net behind home plate. And Bullock has let Palkert back into the count, 2-1. Bullock, limited action hitting, .282 on the season. Started in right field for the vast majority of last season for Michigan, ultimately supplanted by the transfer in of Jordan Brewer. But now Palkert comes set. 2-1 delivery to Bullock, and he holds off, but a called strike 2. And now Palkert is 1 strike away from stranding Jimmy Kerr at third base.
And that'd be a hard pill to swallow for the Wolverines. Runners left on base was a bit of an issue earlier in this tournament. Then in the past couple of games, they've been driving in runs like it's nobody's business and not really leaving anyone on base. Or when they did leave a guy on base, it's because they already scored 4 more that inning.
And that's a generous call on the outside corner to Christian Bullock. But now Palkert comes set. Kerr jumps but holds up. 2-2 delivery inside at the knees. And now the count is full as Palkert is going to have to make a pitch to get out of this inning.
Yep, only 8 pitches into this game right now, so should be fully charged and ready to give his best stuff here to Bullock.
Palkert comes set. You have to imagine Jimmy Kerr is going to be on the run immediately, along with Nelson. And Bullock calls time.
Yep, and
we will sit and wait for another moment, possibly just letting Palkert sit and think about it for a second.
Third baseman Angelo Altavia is playing way off the third base right now, so Kerr is going to really get a head start here.
Nebraska's infield shaded right, depth behind first base. Bullock swings on it, puts it in play, and it will get over to Kobe Gomez. Bullock booking down the first base line, but Gomez able to come over and end the bottom of the 4th inning. And just like that, the score remains Nebraska 2, Michigan 1, as Michigan strands Jimmy Kerr at third base due to the ground out by Christian Bullock. And once again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball at the Big Ten tournament here at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep, Nebraska survives a tight inning, unlike Michigan, flip them again. Nebraska survives a tight, no, that was right the first time. Nebraska survives a tight inning, unlike Michigan. Up in the third, had the bases loaded and conceded 2 runs. However, though, Nebraska in general just fielding better than the Wolverines, and that has been the difference in this one. 2 runs allowed, not because of any error, but just fielding that could have been better in the third.
And Angelo Smith out there on the rubber right now. The off-day pitchers in the outfield just getting warm, but more migration over to the bullpen. Ben Kaiser warming up in the pen for the Wolverines. Kaiser pitched yesterday against Maryland, but only threw 18 pitches. So it has been speculated that he may very well be available, and it looks like he will be available to relieve Angelo Smith should the occasion arise for it, and not something that would be wholly unsurprising. Angelo Smith, usually a 1-inning guy, more a setup man more than anything, thrown 74 pitches now starting out this game.
Yep, I believe 4 innings pitched was his maximum on the year going into this one, so he will, in all likelihood, end up with at least another third and extend his season high. And that's what you tend to see here in the weekend of the Big Ten tournament. Teams going very deep into their bullpen. There's a lot more activity going on in the Michigan bullpen right now, maybe just some stretching going on earlier, but you've got multiple pitchers full-on warming up right now. And we'll see how much longer head coach Eric Bakich is willing to let Angelo Smith continue to run up that pitch count.
And now it will be Cam Schick leading off the top of the 5th inning for the Huskers. And Angelo Smith will step up to the rubber. And the first pitch to Schick is swung on and grounded over to Blake Nelson at third base. Nelson handles it cleanly, fires it over to Jimmy Kerr, and one away, 1 pitch here in the top of the 5th inning.
And Nelson takes advantage of the opportunity to put a little bit of those fielding struggles behind him back in the third. Looking very good right there. Bit easier of a play than the first 2 he couldn't quite make it out with. As Cam Schick, the base runner who's really responsible for helping Nebraska set up those 2 runs.
And Aaron Polensky in the box. First pitch is a called strike 1 in the inner half of the plate. Angelo Smith locating that breaking ball nicely once again. As Smith comes set. Third base side of the rubber. The 0-1 delivery is a called strike 2 in the inner half of the plate. And just like that, Polensky finds himself down 0-2.
The best batter for the Huskers, batting .332, nearly 1-3.
And Angelo Smith working quickly. The 0-2 delivery is in the dirt, and it will be 1-2. And Mike Duffy issuing that call once again. And there was a check swing. Hard to see. Oh, that was actually, may have been fouled off the hilt of the bat, but either way, the delivery is now in the dirt, and the count evened up at 2.
Yeah, that's a nail biter right there. That's a tough way to maybe concede a ball. We'll see if that comes back to haunt Angelo Smith.
Either way, Angelo Smith still working quickly. Comes set. Now the 2-2 delivery to Polensky is inside at the feet. And just like that, from being up 0-2, Angelo Smith has now filled up the count. 3-2.
As well as just thrown his 78th pitch. Only has 25 1/3 innings pitched on the season coming into this one.
And Smith comes set. The payoff pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back into the net behind home plate.
Just extending this at bat and wearing out more and more of Michigan's starter here. Cannot quite put Polensky away.
And Smith comes set. Another 3-2 pitch on the way to Polensky. Swung on and another foul ball into the net behind home plate. That one would have been ball 4 had Polensky laid off. But either way, Polensky just swinging to protect at this point. And now Smith toes the rubber. And here we go again. Swung on and fouled into the net behind home plate. Third straight foul ball at full count by Aaron Polensky.
And even if Polensky can't make any contact here and just gets out, he's going to have done a pretty, added some value for the Huskers either way. Really tearing in here to Angelo Smith's pitch count.
And the 3-2 delivery swung on and another foul ball. This one into the Wolverines dugout. There was some heat on that one.
Yeah, looking like he might have been trying to take out a Michigan player or 2 from this game. Causing quite a few Michigan players to duck. Knocked a little bit above their heads and ended up flying anyway. Also threatened a couple BTN cameramen.
Oh, they're all right. And now Angelo Smith comes set. 3-2 pitch again. And called strike 3. Polensky sent down on the backwards K. And Husker fans very unhappy, suffice to say.
Yep, Polensky was swinging at everything. Decides to let that one slide, and he pays the price, and that's the right call, it looks like to me. It might have been a little bit low, but I think he painted the corner right there.
Angelo Smith playing with fire a little bit there. That's a borderline call. But either way, 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning. And Angelo Altavilla standing in the left-handed batter's box. First pitch is plunked him. Altavilla gets struck in the shin, and Nebraska has a base runner.
2 out, 1 on here for the Huskers. And hey, if Angelo Smith was going to put a man on base, at least he did it in 1 pitch.
And Altavilla's been hit 3 times now today. Twice this morning, and now once by Angelo Smith.
Weird day for him. I can't feel good tomorrow morning.
And, well, he'll feel a lot better if Nebraska is able to win today.
Absolutely.
And now Angelo Smith to Schwellenbach. First pitch swung on and fouled behind the net. As Angelo Smith will toe the rubber, looking for another signal from his catcher, Joe Donovan. Smith now thrown 85 pitches. Have to guess. And the 0-1 pitch called strike 2. And Angelo Smith now thrown 86 pitches, but 1 strike away from completing 5 innings, and really well beyond what anyone expected to be his upper limit today has Angelo Smith. And now Smith comes set. 0-2 delivery is high and outside, ball 1.
Yeah, if he can finish this one, he'll get to having pitched a whole 5th of what he had this season coming into the game. 25 1/3, and might be able to retire 15 batters here to start off this one. I don't think he'll go much beyond this inning if he can get out of this one at all.
And Smith comes set, eyes Altavilla at first. 1-2 pitch fouled into the net behind home plate, and Schwellenbach stays alive. And Angelo Smith forced to stand out there for at least 1 more throw.
Already at 88, will get to at least 89. Well beyond his season high, that's for sure.
And Angelo Smith comes set, eyes Altavilla, looks again. Now the 1-2 pitch rather, and fouled into the netting once again. And both Schwellenbach and Polensky made Angelo Smith work hard. And now Smith trying to work quickly once again. And looks the signal from Donovan. Now comes set, looks at Altavilla at first. And the 2-2 pitch on its way again. 1-2 again, and in the dirt. And Joe Donovan will throw to second and over the head of Akeo Thomas. And Nebraska may score. And no, Altavilla will hold up at third. Jesse Franklin cuts him off at Jack Blomgren. Joe Donovan boots the ball at home plate, then tries to catch the stealing Schwellenbach, and ultimately hurls it over Akeo Thomas's head, and it goes into center field. Michigan getting away with one there.
And I don't think he was ever going to catch Altavilla at second anyway. It would have required a perfect throw.
Now, a perfect throw wouldn't have done any good. But.
And there's the first error again on the day for Michigan. And once again, the just not fielding as well as they could.
Things coming apart a little bit there. Angelo Smith, the pitch, and.
Ooh.
The ball 3. Joe Donovan was about ready to walk off.
Everyone on the field right there already started walking toward the Michigan dugout.
And the payoff pitch is upcoming. Angelo Smith towing the rubber, hanging by a thread. Full count pitch swung on and launched into left field, and Nebraska will tack on another run as Angelo Smith hung out to dry by his defense yet again. And Nebraska out ahead by 2.
Yep, I can't really make any promises, but Altavilla might not have been able to score on that one had he been at second. Fielded pretty quickly in the outfield. It's going to be another mistake there that's going to really come back to haunt the Wolverines I mean, this very easily could be a 1-0 ball game. Just have to take care of
Michigan's defensive issues rearing their ugly head at the worst possible time in this game. It was Blake Nelson previously, this time Joe Donovan with the mistake behind the backstop, and Eric Bakich will step out to the mound, and he makes a signal to Mike Duffy asking for a called strike 3 on a couple earlier pitches, and it looks like somebody will come in, most likely Ben Kaiser, as Eric Bakich makes the call to the bullpen, as the Go Big Red chants echo around TD Ameritrade Park. And the gate at the bullpen is open, and out steps Benjamin Kaiser, who will come in trying to finish off this inning and maintain and keep the deficit at 2 runs. And Angelo Smith standing there sullen as Ben Kaiser comes out, and the lefty gives the ball up to the other lefty. And Angelo Smith's day is done. Angelo Smith threw 90 pitches in this outing. Setup man, far beyond what anyone would expect of him. If you're Eric Bakich, I know Angelo Smith in line for the loss, but you're Eric Bakich, you can't really expect any better. And Angelo Smith certainly has the right to feel a bit hard done by the defense behind him today.
Absolutely. There was one play where he couldn't quite make the defensive stop required, but this really could be a 1-0 ball game with just a little bit better fielding here. That's going to go down as one of the stories of this game if the Wolverines can't pull it out. Nebraska playing much cleaner in the infield and playing more intelligently, running the bases as well, and that could be the difference here. Also batting a little bit better. 4 hits to Michigan's 2.
And Ben Kaiser throwing a few warm-up pitches to Joe Donovan. And yes, Daniel, I would agree with you. If Altavilla was on second base instead of third, there is no way he scores. But Angelo Smith, several times 1 strike away from getting out. And Nebraska has just found a way to hang around. Some of it self-inflicted by Michigan, some of it just good hitting at the plate by the Huskers.
And hustle around the bases, too.
Indeed, Nebraska demonstrating a lot of initiative on the base paths so far, and that ultimately has what has doomed the Wolverines through these first 5 innings. And Mike Duffy putting a stop to the warm-up pitches, at least for the time being. And now it will be Luke Roscom who will step up to the left-handed batter's box to face the lefty pitcher, Ben Kaiser.
And really everything's unraveling there with 2 out, much like they did in the third. Wolverines just not able to close a couple innings here, and that's why they're going to find themselves down at least 2 when they take the field for the last 5 of their turns at the plate.
And now Kaiser comes set, and the first pitch is a called strike 1 to Luke Roscom.
Kaiser having gotten to see some action a couple times earlier in this tournament, seeing a lot of relief work not coming in this early before.
Now Kaiser, the 0-1 delivery high and outside. Count evened up at 1 to Luke Roscom.
I wonder how many pitches Bakich has in mind for Kaiser tonight. I do not expect him to close this game out, really, no matter what, unless he pitches a shutout from here on out.
This is highly improbable, and the 1-1 delivery is a called strike 2 in the inner half of the plate to Luke Roscom, and Kaiser 1 strike away from putting this 5th inning behind his team. And Kaiser comes set. Doesn't even look at Altavilla. The 1-2 delivery swung on and missed, and this inning is history, but not before Nebraska plates another run, partially due to defensive miscues, rearing their ugly head at the wrong time for the first time this tournament for the Michigan Wolverines. And now we head to the bottom of the 5th. Michigan has some more work to do, down 3-1 to Nebraska in a pivotal Big Ten tournament semifinal. Once again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball at the Big Ten tournament here at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska.
And it's the exact same lineup that we saw. And oh my goodness, it looks like a friend of the station, Tony Falco, is being interviewed by another friend of the station, D. Wayne, one of the presenters here in Omaha. I haven't really been able to catch what they've been saying.
This is a who am I? I was an All-American in both baseball and basketball. There's a black and white photograph on the big board here at. He led Illinois to the Big Ten title in 1937.
Well, this is going to be some ancient history.
Well, old Illinois athletes. Red Grange played in the 20s, so that's out.
And that's at least an Illinois athlete from that general time period.
And inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1970.
Yeah, this was on the boards during one of the other games.
Yeah, I know. This was Lou Boudreau. And friend of the station, Tony Falco, got it correct.
So the Illinois knowledge, a Chicago native.
For those of you who can't see into our booth, which is all of you, Austin Falco is standing in here dead silent.
Is there an award for that, or do you just get the bragging rights? I'm not sure if
he gets paid in exposure.
I suppose, yeah. It's a lot of these contests, you know, you get like a pint of ice cream or something, $20 gift card at the local grocery store. I don't know what the deal is here. He's getting a lot of high fives, that's for sure.
There we go.
I'm sure our own Austin Falco will find out what exactly the rewards are after the game. If it's just bragging rights, maybe a T-shirt. It looks like he's just been handed. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, two familiar faces now: D. Wayne and Tony Falco.
D. Wayne been the host here at TD Ameritrade Park all week long, but doing an exemplary job. And now Robbie Palkert will step back into the onto the rubber for the Cornhuskers through the last 2/3 of the bottom of the fourth, as Akeo Thomas will find himself in a position that he is not unfamiliar with in his Michigan career, leading off an inning.
And this is something that the last inning where the Wolverines scored. They were down 2, and Akeo Thomas led off the inning with a walk.
First pitch to Akeo Thomas, inside, ball 1.
Well, we're off in that same pace right now. Maybe some deja vu here for the Wolverines, and they can cut into this 2-run deficit.
And the 1-0 delivery foul to the netting behind. Home plate over by the Wolverines on deck circle. And the count 1-1 to senior second baseman in what could be his final conference game as a Michigan Wolverine. The 1-1 delivery is inside, almost hits him.
Yeah, he had to make an impressive athletic duck away from that ball there.
Thomas having to pull away there to avoid getting hit, opted against taking one for the team. And the 2-1 delivery swung on and popped straight back at us, and it will settle about 15 feet in front.
That's real close to us. Looks like a guy fell out of his chair.
You got a Husker fan fell out of his chair, but did he get the ball?
I don't think so.
No, he did not. He did not.
Who got it then? I don't know where.
2-2 delivery is in the dirt, but even before the plate, and Akeo Thomas has worked the count full.
So one pitch away here, maybe from a walk, and starting the 5th just as they started the 3rd with an Akeo Thomas walk. Jordan Wogu warming up, one of the most prolific hitters here in Omaha.
And the payoff pitch to Thomas swung on and fouled down the third base line over by the Wolverines dugout. And the at-bat will continue as Palkert will be forced to continue to go to work to get Akeo Thomas back to the dugout. And the second payoff pitch swung on, and it will be muscled out into left center field. And Akeo Thomas has himself a base hit.
Only hit number 3 so far today for the Wolverines. Same result as 2 innings ago, but I'm sure Akeo Thomas will take a bit more pride in this one, hammering his way to first over the reach of the shortstop and comfortably rolling on to the left fielder. Good-looking hit right there, and maybe Jordan Wogu can add to the damage. 1 on, no out. Wolverines looking to take a bite into this 3-1 Husker lead.
And Jordan Wogu stepping up to the batter's box. Wogu, a couple of hard hit balls so far today. Neither one of them amounted to much. However, his ground ball to first base did move Akeo Thomas over to second, and the first pitch is a fastball over the heart of the plate called strike 1.
Wogu having himself a great tournament, brought his batting average up now to .339 on the season. The designated hitter for the Wolverines doing his job so far. Maybe not in this one, but overall. Over 2 right now, though.
And Palkert slowing it down. Toes the extreme first base side of the rubber. Now comes set. 0-1 delivery swung on and fouled down the third base line. And Jordan Wogu is going to have to swing to protect.
Yep, down early in this count, 0-2. We'll see what he can do. When your designated hitter is going to start off 0 for 3, that's going to cause problems for your offense. We'll see if he can flip the script right here.
And Jordan Wogu choking up on the bat. 0-2 pitch swung on, and it will be grounded into left field, and Akeo Thomas will move to second, and back-to-back singles by Akeo Thomas and Jordan Wogu. The table set now for Jesse Franklin.
Yep, the tying run now on first. Jesse Franklin having a somewhat quiet day, 1 for 2, one of only 3 Wolverines with a hit. 4 now, of course, with Wogu getting that one, knotting things up in the hit department here.
And Jesse Franklin, the go-ahead run at the plate as the Wolverines sophomore center fielder. And now Roscom stepping out beyond the plate to make some clearer signals to Palkert. Not sure if he's trying to make those signals to Palkert or Henwood over at second base. Actually, it'd probably be more accurately over to Schwellenbach, who is standing close to second. Infield shaded to the right or shaded towards first base for the left-handed batter and Jesse Franklin. And the first pitch, and Franklin launches it out into deep right center, and it will go over the head of the left fielder. Akeo Thomas, though, is not going to be able to come around, and the bases are loaded with no outs, but no runs coming across. Akeo Thomas is not sure if that one was getting caught.
Yeah, and he had to be smart there. Indecisiveness there is going to hurt him. He was about 10, 15 feet off the bag, decided that one might get caught, and he was right. That was about a foot away from being snagged out of the air, so he had to retreat back to second before advancing. If he either hesitated more to begin with or just committed fully, he would have been home for sure.
And Akeo Thomas
does get to third with none out, so...
Akeo Thomas, no doubt, has to be frustrated, but now Jack Blomgren in the box has to finish the job.
It would be devastating if the Wolverines got no runs out of this.
And now Palkert, the first pitch, and plugs Blomgren on the back, and Akeo Thomas will trot his way in, and Michigan gets a run back, and Jack Blomgren will take his free pass.
And Blomgren, he's been a victim today. That's his second time getting hit, and he really got hit hard the last time. Ball hitting him right in the back of the head where his cap kind of ends, so he really was shook after that one. I'm sure he prefers this one considerably. Brings in a run, makes this a one-run game with still none out, 3 on.
Jack Blomgren, once his season is over, Jack Blomgren might have to spend a little bit of time in a neck brace. But now Darren Ernstadt coming back out to the mound. Nobody standing in the gate of the Nebraska pen, so Palkert may stay in, at least for now.
As things have really gotten ugly here. 3 consecutive batters get good contact on the ball. The last one driving that near the warning track.
And it's still Palkert's game. And it will be Jimmy Kerr who will step up to the plate. Bases loaded, no outs. Jordan Wogu on third, Jesse Franklin on second, Jack Blomgren on first.
And just to reiterate, that pitch was not close. I mean, that was not a borderline hit by a pitch or anything.
No,
he beamed him in the back right on the number.
And Blomgren made a move to get out of the way. That wasn't like what Prince Fielder used to do, try to even move out over the plate to take the hit. But either way, now Palkert will stand. If he misses in exactly the same spot, he won't hit the left-handed Jimmy Kerr, at least.
That's true.
And Palkert comes set. First pitch to Kerr is in the dirt. Ball 1.
Well, that was the first pitch thing that Kerr has been trying out this weekend. Really would have been perfect for that. First pitch with the bases loaded.
And Akeo Thomas has now scored both the runs.
True.
For Michigan in this game. And Palkert comes set. 1-0 delivery to Jimmy Kerr. Swung on and foul. And Jimmy Kerr nodding his head vigorously and saying some words to himself. Possibly cannot be repeated in public.
This stream is not over the airwaves, so the FCC couldn't come after us at least.
But now Jimmy Kerr steps back into the left-handed batter's box. The count evened up at 1. Try and take that frustration out on the next pitch if he can. If Palkert gives him something to hit. The 1-1 delivery way outside. That one would have hit a right-handed batter. As the count now 2-1. Jimmy Kerr out front yet again.
And, I mean, that would be a really tough look for Palkert if he were to hit a run home and then walk a run home.
And Palkert comes set, not looking at any of the base runners. Makes sense, they don't really have anywhere to go. The 2-1 pitch swung on and launched into deep right field. Is that going to get over the left fielder's head? It's going to be caught at the wall, but Jordan Wogu is going to come in and score. Franklin is going to come around to third, and Michigan has tied the game up at 3. The long sacrifice fly and the RBI by Jimmy Kerr.
That's a grand slam at the Fish. That's a grand slam in nearly any Big Ten ballpark.
That's a grand slam in every Big Ten ballpark.
Well, is this a Big Ten ballpark?
No.
Okay.
Big Ten regular season ballpark.
Okay. Yeah, that's a grand slam anywhere else. That was about 3 feet away from being a real grand slam. 6-3 lead for the Wolverines. Instead, they're gonna have to settle for a 3-3 tie game. But with the go-ahead run at third with 1 out, and Miles Lewis up to bat, he's gotten a lot of solid contact so far this week. He can definitely drive another one just like that and maybe bring home the go-ahead runner.
Runners at the corners, 1 out. The sacrifice still in play for Miles Lewis as the right-handed batter steps into the box. Palkert comes set. Palkert the delivery. Lewis the swing and fouls it down the third base line. Franklin jumped at third base. Not sure. Palkert, of course, the right-handed pitcher, standing facing third, maybe just trying to get into his head, force an errant throw, which would no doubt score the Wolverine center fielder from third.
Absolutely. Huskers playing a bit closer to that third base than they usually do.
And Palkert, 1-0 delivery and swung, 0-1 delivery rather, and it will be fouled. Will it go out of play? No, it won't. And that will be Gomez who will come over and complete the put out. And now 2 outs. With the game tied, the sacrifice no longer in play. Blake Nelson will step up to the plate, see if he can earn some goodwill back after some rough defensive moments in the third inning.
Yep, that's a tough pill to swallow right there. About the worst thing that could have happened shy of a double play for the Wolverines. Now Blake Nelson with a chance to redeem himself by bringing home the go-ahead RBI. It's been a good inning for the Wolverines, but they're going to feel a bit empty if they cannot take the lead after this one, coming oh so close to a grand slam.
And now Blake Nelson, opportunity to be the hero here in the bottom of the 5th. Palkert comes set. First pitch is in the dirt. Ball 1 to Blake Nelson. It's the second time Miles Lewis has fouled out in this game. And now Nelson stands back in the box. Palkert comes set. 1-0 delivery and low and away. And Blake Nelson out in front 2-0. Blake Nelson walked in the 4th inning. So Wolverines third baseman, no stranger to the free pass.
And I don't think he'd be opposed to taking another stroll right here, although by far the best batting average of anyone Michigan's going to see for a bit. So he might be the guy you want right now to drive another run home.
And 2-0 to Nelson. Swung on, it will be launched back up the gut. And ultimately the routine ground ball. And Gomez having to lay out the throw off target from Headwood. But either way, Nebraska gets out of the inning, but not before Michigan able to tie it up at 3 through 5.
And it's going to go down as a fondly remembered inning for the Wolverines, but they were so close to maybe busting this thing open. In no other inning has either team looked nearly as capable of doing damage, but all other runs before this one were scored with 2 out. Right there, the Wolverines scored 1 with none out and had the bases loaded. Only drove home 1 more run, following that. Definitely going to feel like there was a bit more they could have done there. All in all, though, a good inning for the Wolverines.
Once again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball at the Big Ten Tournament here at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska. As Ben Kaiser will step out, throwing 4 pitches in the top of the 5th inning in relief for Angelo Smith. Kaiser reasonably can be expected to go most likely 1 more inning, maybe into another one. But Kaiser, no doubt a little bit gassed after having to throw against Maryland yesterday afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see how long his leash is as head coach Eric Bakich managing his pitchers fairly cautiously, fairly liberally rather, regarding the leash, but it will be interesting to see as Kaiser throwing some more warm-up pitches as the grounds crew just about done polishing up the infield for the remaining 4 innings of this game.
And the scene really filling up here with a lot of Husker fans here in the afternoon, as we enter the evening here in Lincoln, or Omaha. Sorry, making things a bit too Lincoln-centric right now. 8:34 p.m. in Omaha. They're telling the crowd to get loud. You know, they've not been partial in any way with the images on the scoreboard or anything, or the chants they've led, but a couple times here and then it's felt a little bit like they know what crowd they're riling up.
And the first pitch to Joe Acker gets past Joe Donovan up against the wall behind home plate. Thankfully, there is nobody on base.
Yep, that would have advanced runners at least one base had anyone been on.
And now Kaiser will come set. 1-0 delivery is in and out of the glove of Joe Donovan. And just like that, Kaiser finds himself behind 2-0. Joe Donovan really having some trouble keeping the ball in the glove. As now Kaiser comes set once again. The 2-0 pitch outside, 3-0, and Kaiser in danger of issuing the 4-pitch walk to Joe Acker to lead off the top of the 6th inning.
Yep, Kaiser was very calm and composed entering this game and limiting the damage to no more runs after coming in for Angelo Smith. Right now does not have that composure.
3-0 delivery outside, lost in ball 4. And Nebraska gets the leadoff hitter on first base.
Just needs to settle in here a bit, although Nebraska really hasn't had too many favorable situations early in the inning, doing most of their damage with 2 out. That's a big difference from the last game where the Huskers went up to the 7th inning having not recorded a single hit with 2 out. They're 4 for 10 right now with 2 out. Michigan only 2 for 7. Only able to score 1 run while having 2 batters out in the inning.
Alex Henwood grounded into a fielder's choice and a ground out to Jack Blomgren in his first 2 at-bats, and Henwood squares around a bunt, pulls away in time, ball 1.
We're making 5 straight here for Kaiser. We'll see if he settles in anytime soon. Pitcher already warming up in the bullpen, but you really hope that Bakich can get as much time as he wants out of Kaiser here.
And Henwood squaring around again. Kaiser, the 1-0 delivery, and gets the bunt down, and Kaiser will just make the flip over to first base. And Nebraska has moved Acker over to second, now 1 away.
So Nebraska willing to offer an out there in order to advance the runner to scoring position. Definitely getting to the point already in this game. We're only in the top of the 6th, but 1 run really makes the world's difference in a tie game. Psychologically, that can have a huge impact with the way this is effectively a home game for the Huskers.
And Kobe Gomez, pair of polar opposites, a strikeout and a walk in his first 2 plate appearances. Kaiser, the first pitch to Gomez is low and inside in the dirt, ball 1.
Gonna have to control these, not let any sail by the catcher.
And Willie Weiss warming up in the bullpen for Michigan. Have to assume there Kaiser's leash might be a bit short. And now Kaiser comes set. Michigan's infield playing deep. 1-0 delivery is inside in the dirt again. Donovan, good move to block.
Yep, it might be Willie Weiss time pretty early in this one. The reliever who was part of the Big Ten All-Freshman team needs to, or he had a bad outing against Illinois, walked in the go-ahead run before getting yanked from that game. I think everyone listening right now knows how that ended.
And Kaiser towing the first base side of the rubber comes set. The 2-0 delivery, high, 3-0, and Kaiser in danger of issuing his second 4-pitch walk this inning. And
He's only 13 pitches so far in his outing. That's not what you need in the Big Ten tournament on Saturday.
And
Saturday night, make that.
Out comes Chris Fetter, Michigan's pitching coach, to talk it over with Ben Kaiser. Willie Weiss warming up in a hurry. Out in the bullpen, there's somebody else up and throwing with him. Can't see who that is.
Yeah, we're basically at the perfect angle where the yellow line blocks out our chance of seeing the numbers, but
And
either way, it looks like Kaiser will stay in for at least the remainder of this at-bat. Talking it over with Joe Donovan.
And Joe Donovan will move now back to his spot behind home plate as home plate umpire Mike Dovey calls an end to the meeting as Chris Fetter walks back to the dugout, and Kaiser gets back on the rubber. The count 3-0. Ben Kaiser this inning has thrown 8 balls against 1 strike. Not really what you want to see. As Kaiser comes set, 3-0 delivery, and called strike 1.
And the only out so far recorded was basically given to him through a bunt.
And now Ben Kaiser will have to throw another strike as Wolverines' big lefty comes set. 3-1 delivery, swung on and missed, and the count is worked full. Ben Kaiser hasn't even been watching Joe Acker at second.
And well, Joe Acker has basically been parked on the base. But that'll do a lot for his confidence, having Altavilla, or Gomez rather, fan on that one.
And now Kaiser comes set. The payoff pitch on its way, and he lost him, ball 4. Down below the zone. And now runners on first and second, 1 out. However, the double play ball is now in play. And now Jackson Hallmark, the Huskers leadoff hitter, steps up to the plate to face Ben Kaiser.
Yep, this is a dangerous situation now, getting into the heart of the Husker lineup with 2 on base, 1 out in a tie ball game.
You have to figure that Ben Kaiser gets out of this inning. This may well be the end of the night for him, as Willie Weiss up and throwing.
And it's not tragic for the Wolverines. Angelo Smith went further than you'd expect.
And the first pitch is swung on and launched into left center field, and Nebraska will take the lead. Possibly extend the lead to 2. No, Gomez will hold up. But either way, a double in the gap will put Nebraska out in front 4-3.
And I wonder if that'll end Kaiser's night right now. Clearly just not 100% ready with the usage he's had over yesterday already, getting some pitches in.
Willie Weiss moving to the gate. Eric Bakich standing on that top step. No, he steps back to the dugout. Joe Donovan staring expectantly over at the Wolverines head coach, and up he comes, and out he comes to the mound, and Willie Weiss stands in the gate. Ben Kaiser's day will very likely be done.
As Hail Varsity, the Nebraska fight song, is pumped through the mics here in TD Ameritrade, and Bakich is serenaded by a chance of Go Big Red going to the mound. The sac fly very much in play to make this a 2-run ball game. It's going to be quite a jam for Weiss to work himself out of. And that's kind of been the story here. Michigan catches up, doesn't do enough damage though to really gain any kind of insurance, and finds themselves back in a hole. It's been a while since Michigan was even up to bat in a tie game.
And Willie Weiss takes the ball as Ben Kaiser walks back to the dugout. Willie Weiss has only appeared once so far in this tournament. However, it was memorable for all the wrong reasons. Willie Weiss walking the bases loaded and then issuing another walk on top of that, and head coach Eric Bakich yanking him immediately at that point against Illinois. Ultimately, it turned out okay in the end, but could have been a bitter tournament for Willie Weiss. But now Willie Weiss steps about an opportunity to get out of a jam and keep Michigan in this game. Willie Weiss, the freshman reliever from Portland, Oregon.
A righty, the first righty to pitch today for Michigan, so we'll see if Cam Chick, who is listed as a switch hitter, maybe moves over to his left. Of course, the sac fly would be big for the Huskers, but if they can get solid contact into the outfield, they can drive in 2 and make this a 3-run game, really almost blow the lid off this one. Now Michigan was able to dial up 5 runs in the last 3 innings when they really needed it against Illinois back on Thursday. However, when they needed just 1 run against Ohio State, failed to do so on Wednesday. They've made a comeback already at this tournament, but they've enjoyed the lead for a lot of their most recent games, playing with an opportunity to, in all likelihood, be the favorite in the Big Ten championship game tomorrow afternoon. Winner of Minnesota and Ohio State likely to be a bit of an underdog against Nebraska and Michigan. These are two near locks for the tournament as an at-large bid. At-large bid. Meanwhile, Ohio State and Minnesota, the winner of that game later tonight almost certainly needs to win their game to advance to the NCAA tournament. That game might not be playing tonight, though. There's an 11 p.m. curfew here. Games can't start till an hour after the previous one ends. It's 8:45 right now in Omaha. This game has to wrap up in the next hour 15, if the late game is to get played tonight.
And now it will be Cam Schick stepping into the batter's box and will bat from the left side against Willie Weiss. And Michigan's bullpen stretched to its very limits as Weiss comes set. Runners on second and third, one out. First pitch swung on and missed. And Willie Weiss, first pitch of his evening, will induce a swinging strike on the breaking ball from Cam Schick.
Looking a lot more composed than Kaiser had been early on.
And Weiss toes the rubber, now comes set again. Weiss, the 0-1 delivery, down and away, and the count is evened up at 1. The sacrifice fly is on here, as well as a run will be given up if any ball gets past Joe Donovan.
Yep, no force outs anywhere beside first.
And Weiss comes set, the 1-1 delivery in the dirt again. And now the count stands at 2-1 for the Michigan freshman. Nobody up in the pen. And warming up, Willie Weiss really is the last hope here.
I don't know if he can go the distance, but I don't know what Michigan's plan is otherwise.
This is Willie Weiss's inning either way. 2-1 delivery, outside, 3-1. Willie Weiss in real danger of walking the bases loaded, just as he did in his first appearance this tournament.
And then he walked a run home right after that.
And Eric Bakich directing traffic in the infield. All four of Michigan's infielders playing in. Double play, of course, out of play. And the 3-2 pitch, and he lost him, ball 4. And the bases are now loaded, but the double play ball is in play. However, Nebraska sends up their strongest hitter in Aaron Polensky to face off against Willie Weiss.
And this is not the situation Michigan wanted to find themselves in. Bases loaded with none out they had last inning, were only able to drive in 2 runs as a consequence of that. Now the Huskers loading the bases here already with 1 run to start this inning off. We'll see if Willie Weiss can get out of this one. Was unable to and needed to get bailed out last time we saw him on Thursday.
And now Weiss comes set. Bases loaded, 1 out, first pitch in the dirt, ball 1. And with every ball thrown by Willie Weiss, you can start to feel in this stadium, Nebraska might be about to seize a lead that they cannot relinquish. And Weiss will come set, taking his time. Now here he goes. Toes the rubber. 1-0 delivery, swung on and fouled straight back into the net behind home plate, and Willie Weiss has himself a strike on Aaron Polensky.
Evening up this at bat, that's going to be big for him. Another walk here would not only, of course, extend the Nebraska lead, but I think be a crucial blow to one of the last stands at pitcher here.
Indeed. Now Willie Weiss slowing this game down considerably. Big contrast to Angelo Smith, who tried to work quickly. 2-1 delivery is high. Check swing does not go around. And I was mistaken. That was actually ball 2. And The Go Big Red chants alive yet again here at TD Ameritrade Park as the sun going down. The lights are on here in Omaha. Willie Weiss, the 2-1 delivery. High, ball 3.
And he's a ball away from repeating that error that got him yanked early from that game in Thursday. There is a little bit of movement in the bullpen, but no one is warming up.
Like bit of a long toss between a catcher and it was most likely Joe Pace. The Husker crowd on their feet. This pitch could very well decide the game with no intention of putting the cart before the horse. And the fans behind home plate trying to get into Weiss's head. The pitch swung on and missed, and Willie Weiss stays alive.
Silences that crowd for a second, but they're already rustling and bustling, ready to get back into this one.
Indeed.
The psychological factor here has to be tremendous. Willie Weiss knowing he is not going to have any insurance here.
Willie Weiss, the freshman, no one out, bases loaded, trying to hold on to a 1-run deficit. The count is full, the payoff pitch incoming, and high, ball 4. And Nebraska gets out to a 2-run lead. And the sentiment is that this game might well be over.
Certainly feels as if it's slipping away from the Wolverines. They are now in very serious danger here. A sac fly could make this a 6-3 game, doubling the Michigan score. A single could be more catastrophic, extend this lead to 4 potentially, and there would still be another out or 2 to play with.
Now it's Angelo Altavilla standing in the box. The first pitch is a called strike 1 on the outer half of the plate.
Getting ahead of these counts will be huge here for Weiss, who has now walked 2 consecutive batters, much like he did to bring in a run.
And now there is some action in the bullpen. It could be Joe Pace. I have no idea if it actually is Joe Pace, but he might very well be the last one left as the 0-1 pitch is down below.
And every single Weiss ball right now is being met with roaring applause here from the Omaha crowd.
Actually, that may well be Isaiah Page, who pitched yesterday against Maryland. We speculate it is Isaiah Page. We speculated he's unlikely to be pressed into action aside from extreme circumstances that this may well be it. 1-1 pitch in the dirt, ball 2.
I would definitely call this an urgent pitching situation. Weiss is going to be in real danger of just losing composure here if he walks a 3rd consecutive batter and a 2nd run in.
And Weiss walking back to the rubber.
Still has 1 more ball to give, although I really don't think he wants to.
Does not want to give that ball at all. And the count at 2-1. This game is ground to a halt. Willie Weiss, the 2-1 delivery swung on and popped foul. And just fair, Jimmy Kerr will make the easy catch, and now 2 away. And Willie Weiss has an opportunity to get out of the top of the 6th inning with Nebraska's lead at 2.
Exactly what the doctor ordered right there for Willie Weiss. That ball was in one of the easiest outs Jimmy Kerr will come across. Didn't have to move much for that, and it was a very gentle drop into his glove. Now the sac fly out of play. Willie Weiss with a bit more breathing room here.
And now Schwellenbach. Schwellenbach 2 for 3 today. 3 RBIs on the evening already. And Weiss, the first pitch to Schwellenbach is a called strike 1 over the heart of the plate.
Staying ahead of these counts, he has not been able to do so really in this inning. Doesn't look like fatigue has really been the issue for him, just mentally getting composed. And if he can right this storm, he should be able to go for a couple more innings.
0-1 delivery swung on and launched high into right field. Bullock is going to have to charge, and Bullock will come in, and Bullock will make the grab. And that will end the top of the 6th inning. Michigan tied it up at the bottom of the 5th. Nebraska scratched across 2 more on first, an RBI single given up by Ben Kaiser, and then a bases-loaded walk issued by Willie Weiss. We will head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The score, Nebraska 5, Michigan 3. And once again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball at the Big Ten tournament here at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska.
Michigan suffers a serious blow here, but nothing they can't survive. That could have gotten out of hand quickly for the Wolverines. Could have easily become a 4, 5, 6-run inning with any amount of bad luck. Michigan nearly had a 5-run inning a couple feet away from it, from a Jimmy Kerr grand slam that would have completely flipped the script in this one. It should be a nail-biter. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Commercial-free on WCBN Sports.
And both runs will be charged to Ben Kaiser, as he was responsible for the base runner that Willie Weiss walked in. And
Yep, did not do Willie Weiss any favors with the way
indeed.
the situation he came into.
But Robbie Palkert will step out for another inning of work for the Cornhuskers. Thrown 30 pitches so far. And it will be Joe Donovan, Wolverines catcher, who will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning here at TD Ameritrade Park in a win-or-go-home situation. Joe Donovan 0 for 2 today, both swinging strikeouts.
And now Nebraska getting the noise meter as well, although this is being played at the start of the inning, and don't accuse me of any kind of favoritism here. I grew up in Lincoln. Nebraska getting the noise meter in the middle of an inning with the bases loaded, I think, is when they pulled that up. Just a little bit interesting. Hale varsity being played in mid-inning as well.
Palkert, the first pitch to Donovan, swung on, fouled straight back to the net behind home plate.
Hail to the victors, of course, being played. You probably heard that over our Nat mic just moments ago before the inning got started.
Indeed, that was also played the big cheer along with it. Now the 0-1 delivery to Donovan is low and away. Ball 1, the count evened up at 1.
Donovan 0 for 2 today, in part responsible for the third Nebraska run. He can maybe make up for that with a big hit here.
And the 1-1 pitch, Donovan launches that. Will it land foul? And it will land foul. Gomez not able to range over and make the grab.
And Nebraska right fielder Aaron Polensky he lost his hat in pursuit of that one. Ultimately, though, just a little bit too far foul.
That's something Miles Lewis is known for, losing his hat in left field.
Hasn't done it so far, though.
He cut his hair. That's the
I believe on the podcast we speculated that.
We did.
So, will be another recording today, win or lose. Might come out tomorrow morning following a Michigan win, but make sure to stay tuned for either our In Memoriam podcast or preparation for the Big Ten title game.
And the count 1-2 to Joe Donovan. And swung on and missed, and Joe Donovan completes the hat trick. 3 straight swinging strikeouts. And 1 away here at the bottom of the 6th.
Yep, Christian Bullock up to that now. Had a big game early, coming in relief for Jordan Brewer today. After Jordan Brewer just had a slow start to the tournament, unable to go today. Likely those two things likely related.
Christian Bullock, a long fly out in the 3rd inning and a ground out to first base in the 4th, and the first pitch is taken high for a ball, and the Nebraska faithful less than happy with that call from home plate umpire Mike Duffy. And 1-0 pitch swung on and missed by Christian Bullock.
Yeah, interestingly, you have from the 4th to the 8th batter, no hits right there in that Michigan lineup, and that kind of kills a bunch of...
And Palkert working very quickly, and the 1-1 pitch high and outside, ball 2.
Absolutely cutting me off a couple times here. Palkert working hard to get this game in before 10 and allowing the second semifinal to wrap up.
Palkert wants Minnesota and Ohio State to play tonight, obviously. Now Palkert comes set. 2-1 delivery is low and inside, and Christian Bullock 1 pitch away from getting on base.
Indeed, that will be his first trip around the bases, maybe.
3-1 pitch is gone. Boston, ball 4.
And you know the Husker fans aren't going to like that one. I have to confess, my first reaction was strike.
The discontent is very real here, but now Akeo Thomas will step up to the plate. All right, now we get to watch this.
Ooh,
That's a.
Mike Duffy's done a decent job so far today, but
I will just say that was a call. But now Akeo Thomas walking in his first plate appearance and a single in his second. Both times he did come around to score. Akeo Thomas really come through for Michigan in this game. And the first pitch is inside, ball 1. No, called strike 1.
might be a bit of a makeup call right there. Although those pitches
say
do not,
it
those
may
pitches
be.
do not, those pitches do not have the same magnitude. So.
Wow. But now, maybe Thomas trying to sell that backing off the plate a bit. Palkert comes set. 0-1 delivery. And called strike 2. Akeo Thomas is going to have to swing to protect.
If there was one Michigan base runner you wanted from the starting lineup on first, that's probably Christian Bullock. He's quite the speedster. We'll see if Michigan can do anything to aid his skills here and maybe bring him home. Cut this deficit in half.
Now, Palkert toes the rubber. Comes set. 1-2 delivery and the pitch out. Back to Bullock. And the ball squirts away from Gomez, but not so far away that Bullock can move over to second. But now the count evened up at 2. No,
Bullock,
sorry, 1-2. My mistake.
Bullock making his presence known here, though. I think it certainly affected the Michigan fielders at some points, knowing the runners in scoring positions maybe, and maybe now playing some mind games with the Nebraska fielders.
And signal being made from Roscom to Palkert. Now Palkert comes set. Palkert, the 1-2 delivery in the dirt, and it will get past Roscom, and Christian Bullock will come into second without much incident. And now a runner in scoring position.
Palkert, who was kind of wild entering this game, really settled in, but now he is finding himself kind of a loose cannon again, 2-2 count, and has thrown a runner into scoring position through a walk and then a wild pitch. No one warming up, I believe, in the Nebraska dugout, in the bullpen, no one I can see at least.
Palkert comes set. 2-2 delivery, swung on and fouled over to the Wolverines dugout.
And I mean, right now, Michigan's best offense is Robbie Palkert's arm, so good job of Akeo Thomas staying alive in this one, fouling that one away, and maybe living the fight another day till he can, if you keep fouling him, there's going to be a wild pitch every now and then.
And Palkert comes set. 2-2 delivery to Akeo Thomas, swung on, and another foul ball over to the Wolverine dugout.
Nearly an identical play right there. That ball taking almost the exact same path as the previous one. Staying alive in this count. We'll see if Christian Bullock can maybe play any mind games and find a way to advance himself to third while there's still one out.
And Thomas stands back in the batter's box. Roscom making the signals to Palkert. Roscom very expressive behind the plate. Palkert comes set, 2-2 delivery, and another one over in the Wolverines dugout.
Nearly the same thing 3 times in a row here. Chipping away at Robbie Palkert, now up to 46 pitches on the day.
And
taking his time now.
yeah, Palkert, once again, this game slowing down. There's absolutely no way Ohio State and Minnesota play tonight.
No, 57
and
minutes.
Palkert comes set. 2-2 delivery is in the dirt. And Christian Bullock got lost a little bit there, but Roscom doesn't see him and can't make the throw back.
And I think that's a throw that Michigan wants him to try to make. Things can go wrong when you try to get back to second there.
Michigan learned that the hard way in the 5th inning. Joe Donovan throwing in that situation above Akeo Thomas's head, moving what was ultimately a go-ahead run over to third base. And now the count is full to Akeo Thomas. Akeo Thomas has already walked once. Payoff pitch incoming, swung on and missed, and Akeo Thomas is sent down.
That erupting the crowd here in Omaha. Now Jordan Wogu with 2 out. This is not going to be close to the highest stakes he's seen so far, but this is certainly the second highest, I'd have to say. This game's starting to feel like it's slipping away from the Wolverines. They've had several, and of course they show on the big screen, a bit of a confidence booster for him, reminding him what he did just 2 days ago, and well, 2.5 at this point almost. But
and Thomas, after a hard plate battle, striking out on a fantastic breaking ball down and away by Palkert. down and in rather, by Palkert. But now Jordan Wogu, a different matter entirely. And the first pitch to Wogu swung on and bounced straight up the middle. High chopper. Is Wogu going to be able to beat out the throw? No, he will not. And that will end the 6th inning here. Michigan puts Christian Bullock in scoring position, but ultimately not able to get a run back. We will head to the top of the 7th with the score Nebraska 5, Michigan 3. Once again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball here at the Big Ten Tournament at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska. I will step aside now. Daniel Thompson will remain on the broadcast, and Austin Falco will deliver you through the home stretch.
Yes, I am back on the broadcast for these last few innings of baseball here. An exciting last few innings of baseball, I'm sure, here at TD Ameritrade Park. Willie Weiss still on the mound for the Wolverines today. Going to see how far he can go as Eric Bakich at this point. The bullpen pretty much depleted, pretty much empty coming into this ball game. We talked in our podcast between ball games today. We only really had 3 names that we knew were probably going to get in the game. One was Angelo Smith. He started today. In my opinion, fantastic job. He got through, what was it, about 4 2/3 innings.
With almost no help from his defense.
With just about no help from his defense. And the bats really didn't come alive for him either. Also really got squeezed on a couple of calls that could have gotten him out of a couple of those innings in which he did give up runs. After that, we saw Benjamin Kaiser came in 3-pitch strikeout in the 5th. One just did not have it in the 6th inning, ended up surrendering 2 earned runs to his name. And that's just, I think, a benefit or a byproduct of the 3rd straight day of Kaiser pitching. Pitched 14 pitches a couple days ago, 19 pitches yesterday, going again today. Started off strong and then had to wait that half inning after warming up, going full speed to get ramped up again and just didn't quite have it. And now it's Willie Weiss time. Walked a couple batters, got a couple outs. We'll see how this one goes the rest of the way and how long Eric Bakich can and will ride him. He'll get Luke Roscom to start things off here in the top of the 7th inning for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, leading 5-3 over the University of Michigan Wolverines. Winding up is Weiss. The first pitch to the at-bat is grounded towards the right side. Diving try by Jimmy Kerr, but it's into right field for a leadoff single here in the top of the 7th inning.
And Kerr looked a bit hesitant right there. He probably could have gotten to that one, just maybe misjudged it. Not sure exactly what was the holdup there. And Michigan doesn't feel as mentally prepared for this one maybe as the Huskers, of course, playing only a hour drive from their campus and behind an overwhelmingly home crowd. I mean, this is a better crowd than they get at a typical day at Hawks Field in regular Big Ten play.
The Luke chants coming up here at TD Ameritrade Park with all the Husker fans clad in red and white here in Omaha for the weekend. A lot of Husker support. Obviously, the biggest contingent of fans were Husker fans all weekend long, including games in which the Huskers weren't even playing oftentimes, most of the time, aside from maybe one of the Iowa games, like the first Iowa game over Indiana. Probably more Iowa fans than anything. Other than that, it's been Husker fans. They've been loud, especially for their team here in the biggest game of the tournament so far. Joe Ackers at the plate. Luke Ross, a very short lead over there at first base. First pitch from Willie Weiss. Misses low and away, ball 1.
Weiss has gotten into trouble with with getting behind in counts early. If he's going to settle into this one, and he did a really good job not letting the cap blow off of him at the end of the last inning, but he's going to have to get comfortable here to give Michigan a chance offensively.
1-0 pitch on the way. High fastball, ball 2. And it looks like Isaiah Page might be trying to get back into shape in that Michigan bullpen. He's pretty much the last arm Michigan has left that's pitched with any regularity. Did pitch a lot in yesterday's ball game, though. I believe he went 29 pitches, what we saw.
I was just about to ask that, so it's a decent load right there. It's going to certainly tire him out for today.
Also looked like he struggled a bit yesterday. We'll see if that affects him mentally if he does get into this ball game at all. He wasn't his normal self on the mound. 2-0 pitch this at bat, swinging and a miss there from Acker. And the count moves to 2-1 on the center fielder for Nebraska.
And that's just part of this tournament. We have to win, and you have to win early. Otherwise, you're going to play more games. And when you play more games, you are going to deplete your bullpen.
And Michigan right now could have the guys they had going earlier on today with Walker, Cleveland, going strong to start things off. They could have those guys here tonight had they won earlier on and not been forced to play the extra ball game. A swing and a miss here, a 2-run offering by Acker. Evens count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yep, this being only Nebraska's 4th game as opposed to Michigan's 5th, certainly has had a big impact on this one. And congrats to the Huskers for winning those games early and giving themselves an easier path to the final.
The Wolverines certainly kicking themselves for not winning that game against Ohio State to open things off and sending them behind the 8 ball for the rest of the tournament. Weiss is going to come set in front of his chest here. The 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Looked like a good slider there. Got Acker chasing low and away for the first out in the 7th.
Yep, you can really feel Willie Weiss settling back into this game. I mean, I'd be rattled for sure with all those go big red chants with the bases loaded. He had just walked in a run, walked in 2 consecutive batters, only 1 out. I mean, that's what will break a young man, a freshman too at that. And that's a typical. I don't think he's ever played in front of a crowd quite like this, especially as hostile as this one.
Turns out it was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner that he just blew right past Acker. That'll bring up Alex Henwood. Henwood, well, 0 for 2 today. Fielder's choice ground out and a sacrifice bunt fouls it back to the screen behind home plate. To bring the count to 0-1 here.
And once he's getting ahead of this account, it's not been the trend usually, so good for him not getting himself in a hole early. We'll see if he can convert that into a scoreless inning, something Michigan has not seen a lot of lately.
It's Roscom over at first, not a ton of speed, the catcher. Henwood at the plate, bouncing ball in near Henwood's feet. He takes it for ball 1. Donovan stops it and keeps Roscom over there at first base. Only way Roscom's going to go to second is if that ball gets significantly away from Joe Donovan. A faster runner might even try Donovan a little bit as he took a second to locate it. Roscom didn't even think about it, just stood there in a secondary lead and made his way back to the first base bag.
Yep, catchers don't tend to steal too many bases, and he is not more than a foot length away.
Hasn't even attempted one this season, has Roscom.
There you go.
As a swing and miss here at a 1 pitch. Brings the count to 1-2. Willie Weiss dialing it up on the miles per hour radar. Blowing it past a couple of Huskers here in the 7th. He is at the bottom of the lineup here that he's just trying to overpower and get through. He stares in, glove at his left hip, ball behind his back, and comes out with his hands out in front of his chest. Now 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off to the left side, does Henwood out of play.
And every foul is a pretty serious blow. Every foul with 2 strikes is a pretty serious blow to this Michigan pitching staff. 26 pitches now for Weiss. I don't know exactly how many he had back on Thursday.
I believe it was 10.
Okay.
It was 10 pitches, 8 balls, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh.
He faced 2 batters, walked them both, and was promptly yanked. That's his only action he's seen before today. And Michigan fans had to be having flashbacks as he walked the first 2 batters when he came in. His head's settled in, retired 4 straight, or rather, retired 3 of the last 4. Looking to make it 4 of the last 5. Another 1-2 pitch here, down and in, ball 2.
And that'll bring him up to 28 pitches here today. I don't know exactly how long he can go, but he's going to need to go quite a bit for Michigan if they want to stay in this one.
We've seen him go, I believe, at least 3 innings. I'll check to see what exactly his season high is when it comes to innings, but Eric Bakich has used him in long relief before. Probably going to go as long as he possibly can today as he misses outside with a 2-2 pitch. It is full count on Henwood.
And yeah, potentially another walk here. 3rd walk in about 5 or 6 batters. Not a great trend. Comforting thing is that it's a slower runner, ahead on the bases.
Coming set, payoff pitch. Fastball fouled back over the screen and out of play. The count will remain full.
And the ball plays a game of Plinko before finding itself in the stairway right by the Michigan dugout. And a fan eventually winds up in, I think, the glove of maybe a 15, 14-year-old, so decent end result.
We really bring you inside the stadium here at TD Ameritrade. Let you know all the goings-on as if you're sitting here watching the game with us.
Yep, no commercial breaks. Really does feel like you're at the ballpark.
Another 3-2 offering from Weiss. Here it comes. Fastball just misses inside, ball 4.
And that is not going to be good for Weiss's confidence. He got ahead of that count too. 0-2, I believe it was, at one point.
That pitch could not have missed by much. We'll see the replay here in a second.
In the end, Acker is able to foul off enough balls to find his way to first base.
8-pitch walk there, worked by Henwood, and that'll bring up Colby Gomez. Gomez 0 for 1 today, struck out back in the 3rd inning, has since walked twice and scored a run just last inning in the 6th. Facing Weiss for the first time in today's ball game.
Weiss taking his time right now, collecting his composure.
First pitch to the at-bat's a fastball called strike. Right at the belt, not happy with it there was Gomez.
Yep, and I think Ohio State, Minnesota are probably coming to terms with the fact that they are going to be playing tomorrow morning unless this one really speeds up. Michigan trailing, they're likely going to have to use their bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, unless we get some speedy innings here. The curfew is 11 o'clock to start a game, which means if this game starts pretty much after, or goes till after about 9:47, we're not going to see that 4th game of the day. The 0-1 offering missed inside. Gomez had to get out of the way, and it is 1-1 on the first baseman for Nebraska.
Yeah, Weiss being quite erratic right now, has shown some really good stuff at times and then kind of loses control earlier. We're going to see if he can string together enough good pitches to retire 2 more before allowing 1 more run.
A swing and a miss here at a 1-1 offering results in a 1-2 count now on Gomez. A good off-speed, I believe that was, from Willie Weiss. The radar gun doesn't seem to pick up some of these pitches. Shows us 45 miles an hour. I'm trying to get these right here.
Yeah, I'd really doubt that. I'm going to defer to you over the radar gun in this one.
No, that one was 92, so that was a fastball, actually. All of his stuff has movement, does Weiss. As a 1-2 pitch, misses high and away, ball 2.
2-2 count, not a horrible position to be in right now. As Weiss tries to find himself and maybe get this crucial second out.
He has gone 3 innings 3 times this season in his first season in Ann Arbor, has Willie Weiss.
And if he were to do an exact 3 innings, that would not quite bring him through the top of the 9th. So
2-2 pitch misses outside, ball 3.
And you have to think in this one, it's almost like Nebraska has a 2.5-run lead because their bullpen is probably a bit fresher. If this were to go to extra innings, Michigan would really be in trouble in the pitching department.
Husker fans again getting to their feet here for a 3-2 offering. Weiss comes set. The 3-2 fouled off to the left side.
And that's what batters have been doing right now against Weiss, fouling themselves alive, protecting the count. And now Weiss is up to 37 pitches already today as Isaiah Page loosens up in the bullpen.
Full count pitch. We'll see if the runners are going here with just 1 out in the inning. Try to avoid a double play ball, perhaps. Weiss comes set. Another 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air to the right side. Going over is Kerr. Is he going to have room? That one's going to get into the stands. Foul out of play.
Yep, that one lands about 4 or 5 rows to the right of Kerr. And no chance right there for Michigan to give their pitcher, your young pitcher, some help. In a world where the seats just aren't built that far out, maybe Kerr can get there, but ran out of field.
The crowd still making noise here at TD Ameritrade. Another full count pitch. Called strike 3. Ooh. Gomez thought he had the walk and was headed down to first base, but he stops in his tracks, and Weiss gets his second strikeout of the inning, second on the day.
Both Gomez and Donovan gave strong reactions before we actually got a signal right there from home plate umpire Mike Duffy. Donovan pumped his fist, signaling strikeout. Meanwhile, Gomez took 2 or 3 steps toward home, toward first.
That ball was definitely up. Looking at the replay there, the breaking ball looked like it missed high from Weiss for sure. Got the verbal cue from home plate umpire Mike Duffy, I believe, is what Joe Donovan was pumping his fist about. He heard the strike call
I can
before
see
we got it verbally, we got it visually.
From that angle, I can see his jaw moving before Donovan pumps. So no loaded bases, and now Mojo Hagee getting in, a crowd favorite. He draws a lot of attention. I was back in Lincoln for that game last week, and the crowd went wild for him quite often.
Mojo Hagee coming into the ball game here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, pinch hitting for the leadoff hitter Jackson Hallmark, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI double in this one. First pitch to Hagee, bounces in the dirt. It's 1-0.
And how can you not be a crowd favorite with a name like Mojo? I don't believe that is his birth name, but I think I heard the official name back in Lincoln last week. But nonetheless, it's an easy one for fans to get behind.
5'7" junior, hometown kid here from Omaha, Nebraska. Back ahead in the count here, 1-0. A chance to break this one wide open, perhaps for the Huskers, with 2 outs in the 7th. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball called. Strike 1.
1-1 count here for Weiss. He has struggled to put away a lot of batters as they continue to ricochet fouls away and dial up his pitch count. 41 pitches already tonight. I just can't see him finishing this game. Isaiah Page is almost certainly going to have to be leaned on unless he can produce a quick 1-2-3 inning when he's next up at the mound.
1-1 pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball, down and in. Hagee trying to golf that one out into the Nebraska bullpen and really give this one its final goodnight kiss.
And really everything, and Hagee, of course, hasn't seen any pitcher yet, but all the Weiss's stuff does really break as it approaches the plate. I wonder if maybe batters will get more used to that as they continue to see him more and more. I don't think anyone's seen him for the second time yet. I think Chick was the first to face off against him, who is up next whenever he does come up to the bat.
1-2 pitch from Weiss, bounces way in the dirt. It gets away from Donovan. He's going to have a play at third base perhaps, but he holds on to it. Nelson just telling him, hang on, it's going to be a 2-2 count. A wild pitch put runners in scoring position now at second and third base.
And the stakes just incrementally a little bit higher, and this is not great for the mental fortitude here of the freshman and Willie Weiss. Can't really seem to get a nice, simple 1-2-3 inning or anything quite like that. There have been high stakes on him every moment he has been here. Good for him, though. There are 2 outs, so if he can force an out, he will escape this inning without any damage.
Just needs to get one more here. He struck out 2 batters in the inning already. A 2-2 pitch on the way. Here it comes. Fastball called. Strike 3 on Hagee. Painted the outside corner there, did Weiss. He gets out of danger on a tight rope back there. No runs for Nebraska on 1 hit. No errors. They leave 2 on base, both in scoring position. We will head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Nebraska still leads Michigan by a score of 5-3, thanks to Willie Weiss striking out the side, even if it was with a little bit of help from Mike Duffy.
Yeah, Mike Duffy has been his friend in this inning. Both of those 2 strikeout calls, I mean, they went down looking, and the batters had reasons to be looking. They took a gamble on both of those. Could have been called either way, but that Willie Weiss did get the call. They did get the 50-50 call, we'll say, twice in a row. So fortunate for the freshman who got inserted into this game in a not so fortunate situation. And for the first time since the 4th inning, Michigan holds the Huskers scoreless. It'll be the meat of the order. No Wogu, but Franklin, Blomgren, Kerr all due up to bat for the Wolverines. We'll see what they have ready.
Sure seems like it's do or die for Michigan at this point. As we do announce that Hagee is going to stay in the game for the Huskers. He'll play left field. He replaced left fielder Jackson Hallmark at the top of the order. Went down looking there. Weiss's 3rd strikeout of the day, 3rd strikeout of that inning. After a couple walks to start Weiss's outing, recorded 2 outs to get out of the 6th. And a single and a walk. Alternated with 3 strikeouts there in the 7th.
Yep, Mojo Hagee getting applause from his hometown crowd as he enters this one. We'll see if maybe anything dramatic goes down at left field down in the stretch of this one. And we talked about this quite a bit in the top of this inning. But there's quite a bit of stress regarding the fact that Nebraska is more prepared for overtime, or extra. If this goes to extra innings, Michigan is going to have to ask a lot of Isaiah Page, who pitched 29 pitches, I believe he said, yesterday.
I don't think really there's any chance Michigan really plays for extra innings at this point. If they have a chance to tie up a ball game, I mean, I guess they probably would be the smart thing to do, but as you mentioned, I just don't know if Michigan has any firepower left in that bullpen to really be able to afford extra innings. And they need to get there on offense first anyways. Jesse Franklin's going to swing and miss at the first offering here from Robbie Palkert, and it's an 0-1 count on the Wolverine left-handed hitting center fielder.
Yep, not much point discussing the Michigan offense when, or extra innings. Michigan's offense isn't going to pick things up a bit here.
The 0-1 pitch misses down, and now it's 1-1. And Palkert has a lot of downward motion on his pitch, especially that changeup that just sinks straight out of the zone. He got a KO Thomas with it earlier on an absolutely nasty one and a seemingly critical 3-2 count. And he gets one painted on the corner here at 1-2.
And I believe this came up yesterday, but Jesse Franklin is a fantastic leadoff hitter, batting .361 when he is starting the inning for the Wolverines.
1-2 pitch bounces in the dirt. It is now 2-2. It is a .255 average on the season. Franklin .361 when he leads off an inning. Michigan would really appreciate that now as he's seemingly found his stroke. He's 2 for 3 today. Couple singles and an RBI. Did strike out way back in the first, though.
And that's coming after a 1 for 6 performance earlier today against Nebraska.
2-2 pitch tapped over towards first. Easy play for Gomez. He'll take it to the bag himself. One gone here in the 7th.
And things are feeling pretty comfortable for the Huskers right now. 8 outs away from a bid in the Big Ten championship game. They have been the team to beat so far in Omaha. Had a bunch of defensive hiccups in the last one, but gave up 18 runs, put that behind them, and now they've only surrendered 3 through 6 1/3.
Jack Weisenberger is jogged out to the mound out to the bullpen for the Wolverines. I highly doubt we see him as Jack Blomgren takes the first pitch high for ball 1.
And Michigan's going to need some production deeper in this lineup right now. Kerr is 0 for 1, but he had a sac fly on that one recorded at bat in that stat. So
1-0 pitch catches the outside corner. 1-1 now.
So Kerr is a bit exempt, but the rest of those next 3, they haven't produced much. So they're going to need some help here deeper in this rotation if they are going to tie this one up.
Blomgren, 1-1 pitch to him, misses low and away, ball 2. Blomgren's been on base twice today. Single and a hit by pitch. The hit by pitch he recorded a painful RBI on. Got him square,
yeah,
right in the back or the arm up that way. That one might have hurt even more than the one that hit him in the back of the helmet.
Yeah, definitely. He was able to advance home after that one, too.
The 2-1 pitch just misses outside. The Huskers think he caught that corner and pretty close to where Willie Weiss was throwing the ball last inning and getting a couple calls.
Yeah, Mike Duffy is not making too many friends right now in TD Ameritrade.
Nah, despite the 2-run lead, the Husker fans very much not happy with the home plate umpire. The wind-up 3-1 on the way. It's the blooper towards center field. Is it going to get down? It will not. It will hang up for Acker, who stops in his place and makes the grab. 2 gone in the 7th as life seemingly draining out of the Wolverines.
And Nebraska is making this easy, unlike Willie Weiss has been a bit on defense, really stressing out the Michigan faithful here. Meanwhile, it's been pretty easy coming for the Huskers defense for the last inning and 2/3. We'll see if a 2-run rally can be delivered by the man who brought home Michigan's second run of this game and very, very narrowly could have made it a 5-6 ball game right now. Jimmy Kerr.
First pitch strike down and into Kerr. Zone 1. As you mentioned, yeah, drove in that 3rd run of the ball game for Michigan to tie things up back in the 5th inning. He hit one almost out of TD Ameritrade Park all the way to the warning track in deep right center. Would have been a grand slam, but just didn't carry quite far enough. He watches one miss down and away for ball 1 and is evened up at a ball and a strike apiece. Working quickly, Palkert fires and Kerr hits one high to center field. This one not going to carry very far. Actually, now Acker going way back, but has plenty of room in center field to make the grab for out number 3. The Wolverines go quietly here in the 7th. 1-2-3 inning delivered by Palkert. He is cruising along and giving Nebraska exactly what they need to win this ball game. They're up 5-3 on Michigan. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And Palkert was shaky when he first entered this game. Has really found his groove here, settled in, and survived that scare with the bases loaded, none out, only surrendering 2 runs, and that was really, he could probably afford to give up one more with the way things are going right now. I wonder who's going to come out. It is Willie Weiss taking the mound. Not sure how much longer he has in him. How many pitches is he up to now? It's not a great number.
Willie Weiss, 44 pitches thus far, going into this 8th inning. As you said, I think Eric Back is just going to use him until he pretty much can't anymore. There, you have all the fans at TD Ameritrade Park putting up their phone flashlights and waving them along to the music. Not really a great view from our vantage point, as most of the fans are right below us. Can't really see the phones pointed outward. But I'm sure she'll make for some good pictures and some good video later on TD Ameritrade's promos, or the Big Ten promos for the Big Ten baseball tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has become, I mean, Michigan basketball, they do that before every game now. Become a pretty easy way to get the crowd into things. Basically, everyone's going to have a camera phone on them with a flashlight and participate in that one. Basically replaced the lighters that used to be brought out at rock concerts.
Exactly.
You know, not everyone's going to have a lighter on them, but nearly everyone is going to have a smartphone flashlight.
That sounds about right. A little safer, too, with the flashlights as opposed to the lighters in the pockets.
That is for sure.
Cam Chick's going to lead things off against Willie Weiss. He's the first batter Weiss faced when he came into the game back in the 6th. Walked him on 5 pitches. First pitch here is in the dirt. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Cam Chick, who started this game as a righty, moved over to lefty now in response to Willie Weiss, as Michigan's first 2 pitchers were lefties.
Chick's been on base 3 times today out of his 4 trips to the plate. There's a 1-0 pitch, misses down and in, it's 2-0. Walk, single, ground out, walk on the day for him. Already at the plate for the 5th time. It feels like what Michigan's offense was doing in Nebraska earlier in the day, except without the crooked number on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's been a tale of 2 games for sure. 5-3 right now, as opposed to, and the 8th inning was like 16-7 or something like that.
It was big numbers. That's all I know.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch caught the outside corner for Weiss. Now it is 2-1. Weiss gets the ball back. He works out of the windup with the glove out in front of him. Hands kind of tucked in near his chest as he gets the sign. He winds up, and a 2-1 pitch. Swinging and a miss at a breaking ball down and in on Chick. Now the count is 2-2. Weiss, when he's been bringing out that breaking ball and non-breaking ball counts, such as 2-1 there, it's been very effective. Gotten Huskers to swing through it, looking silly on a ball, moving down and in on him. Brings it with velocity to 82 miles an hour on that breaking ball. 2-2 pitch, high fastball, it's 3-2.
Full count again. Last 2 batters he's able to retire, but getting them looking at a full count. I feel like he's not gonna be getting any more close calls from Mike Duffy. It's about time maybe one doesn't go his way.
Might have used them all up. We'll see what he has in store here for a 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. High fastball, ball 4.
I think that's another one that could have gone either way. I'll have to take another look, though. But
and pretty much all game long, though, Mike Duffy has been very consistent. For the most part, the high strike is not being called. The pitch off the corner is the one being called.
Yep, yeah, that ball was dipping as it came into the plate. Really, basically depends when you decided it crossed the plane where he was defining the batter's box. Going to be a walk there, though, so 1 on with no out. That sounds familiar to me for the Huskers.
And Polensky steps up to the plate. First pitch to him this time is a check swing. Did he go around? Doesn't matter. It's a called strike.
So getting up 0-1 in this count, he really has. Weiss not really making things easy for himself, letting every count get full, always having a batter or 2 on the bases. We'll see what Weiss has ready for Aaron Polensky, one of the best batter on the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
0-1 pitch, breaking ball, gets away from Donovan behind the plate as it missed way low and away. That'd be a wild pitch to move Chick up into scoring position. The Huskers are looking to put the Wolverines away here at this point. Isaiah Page's been warming up for a long time in the Michigan bullpen. You have to figure he's got to come in the game at some point with all the pitches he's thrown out there.
You really would think so. Backish doesn't look ready to pull the plug just yet, but Weiss keeps on putting some in the dirt, and that allows a runner to advance. So you're 2 sac flies away here from a 3-run lead. This is a tough situation here for the Wolverines. Don't know how they're going to get out of this one, and that's why you got to win early in this tournament.
1-1 pitch about to be thrown by Weiss to Polensky, who walked against Weiss the first time he saw him. It's a foul ball right back up near us, but ultimately foul off to the left of us. And nice grab, I'm going to assume by someone over there.
Well, that's right
on the
below
cheer.
us, so we have no way of telling what exactly happened, but the fans seem to enjoy it.
Weiss up in the count now, 1-2 on the dangerous Aaron Polensky. Been on base a couple times via walk and once via fielder's choice in this one. Also had a backwards K back against the starter Angelo Smith. First, the 1-2 pitch here, swing and a miss at a great breaking ball from Willie Weiss. I'm telling you, when that thing is being located, it is absolutely filthy.
It's been devastating. Sent multiple Huskers back to the dugout, fanning, chasing one of those.
Now the 4th strikeout for Willie Weiss. His last 4 outs he's recorded have all been strikeouts, 2 swinging, 2 looking.
Yeah, definitely has not been much of a soft contact guy. Really, I can't remember the last ground out. There was a weak, very soft fly toward Jimmy Kerr that he recorded one out that way, but basically getting everyone either swinging or looking.
That'll be Angelo Altavilla. Left-hander against the right-handed throwing Willie Weiss. He's actually a switch hitter, switching over to the left side against Weiss. He popped out against Weiss too, Jimmy Kerr, right on cue there, Daniel. As the first pitch to him misses high and away, ball 1.
Yep, and as we've mentioned, Weiss is a guy who really likes to have those balls breaking, and that I wonder if that's going to have any impact as guys see him for the second time now. A much different pitcher, righty, as opposed to the first 2 lefties that started this game for Michigan.
Altavilla waves that bat over the plate, now puts it over his left shoulder as the 1-0 pitch is a check swing on the breaking ball. He went around for sure.
Yep,
and it is strike 1.
That was a pretty half-hearted check swing. I mean, that ball was a foot or 2 away from the plate when he decided he wanted no part of it.
Count is now 1-1 on Altavilla. Why should you just throw that breaking ball? I mean, I don't get it predictable, but it's unhittable at this point, it seems. Guys getting fooled left and right. 1-1 pitch. It's a soft tapper near second base. Akeo Thomas going to make the play on the run. He goes to first and over Jimmy Kerr's head. 1 run's going to come in to score. Going to second is Altavilla. The wheels have come off for the Michigan Wolverines now.
And that's another instance here where a pitcher is being failed by his fielding. I was ready to say it. That was going to be Weiss's first ground out recorded. Instead, Akeo Thomas, the incredibly consistent second baseman senior, sails that way over Jimmy Kerr's head. In no universe was that ever going to be caught. And
Christian Bullock having some issues with the runner on second, Altavilla. And the Wolverines losing their temper as well. Maybe I think it was Jack Blomgren actually that initially had issues. Jack Blomgren's had issues with guys in the past. The throw came to Blomgren. I think he might have slapped the tag on Altavilla or something along there.
Definitely a moment where tempers can run wild.
Eric Bakich is out there right now between Blomgren and Altavilla. Nebraska throwing their hands up in the dugout wants their crowd on their feet and making noise. They're obliging. Bakich seemingly saying something to his shortstop right now, and over to his third baseman, Blake Nelson, maybe having him talk to his shortstop. Third base coach for Nebraska also having words with head coach Eric Bakich. They walk back that direction. Not sure what the problem is here, but the umpires are going to huddle over near second base.
Going to take, it's their time to sort this one out.
I think they're just going to leave everything just as is. No ejections quite yet, but we'll keep an eye on some hot-headed tempers out there right now as Nebraska extends the lead to 6-3. It feels just about over for the Wolverines.
The bats are really going to have to come to life right now. I mean, I just can't see Nebraska getting held to just 6 right now. And the quicker that Michigan can end this game, the better. They really don't want to see extra innings. They're going to have to probably score at least 5 in the next 2 innings here if they want to have any chance of winning this one.
And honestly, that little scuffle did nothing to help the Michigan Wolverines either. It just fired up the crowd. Now Eric Bakich is going to come out and make a pitching change. I've never heard anybody booed so much making a pitching change as Eric Bakich out there right now. But Willie Weiss's day will mercifully be over for him, I'm sure. A day probably to forget for the freshman, although all in all, surrendered just 1 run thus far given up to him, and that was unearned in this inning. It will be Isaiah Page about to make his way into the ballgame for Michigan, and you have to figure he's probably the last time Eric Bakich wants to use out the bullpen at this point. Try to take him home and maybe give the offense a shot at putting something together here in the last 2 innings. Page gets to the mound, grabs the ball from his fellow freshman, Willie Weiss. Page, a redshirt freshman, but in his first year pitching on the big mound for the Michigan.
And, well, maybe we'll be surprised, and Page just has a super resilient arm.
Get his numbers for yesterday's ball game. Against Maryland yesterday, he did pitch a total of, I got the Ohio State box score there. Against Maryland here, let's get the right one up.
And right now we're getting some info. Back in Lincoln last week, Blomgren definitely got into it second base earlier with Altavilla.
So those same two guys out there at second again.
There is a history there. Not the same umpires. And I wonder if they were aware of that. But that's going to have to be something to be watched with Altavilla waiting at second.
Isaiah Page pitched an inning and a third against Maryland yesterday. Gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Struck out 2. Did not walk anybody. Uncorked 1 wild pitch in the 7 batters he faced. Although 3 hits out of the 7 batters was one of Isaiah Page's lesser outings of the season. Certainly been very, very good out of the pen for Michigan. If not the best arm out of the pen for Michigan over the course of the last month or so of the season. Overall, his numbers on the season: 21 appearances, 4 starts, 4-0 with a 2.61 ERA for Page. Pitched 41 in a third inning, struck out 23, walked just 8. Batting average against, .219. He'll get Schwellenbach, the shortstop, to start things off, and Luke Roscom, with all likelihood, barring some fluky sort of double play in which Altavilla makes it out on the base paths. And right now, Altavilla and Blomgren right at second base with each other, talking right now, I'm assuming. I can only assume, being that close. Blomgren and him talking ear to ear, face to face there. Blomgren now backs away.
Going to be an interesting task for Eric Lovelace, the second base umpire, to prevent a part 3.
Yeah, really. That's how about him out there. Normally, the second base umpire doesn't get much of the fame. You get the guys at first and third making the check swing calls, and obviously the home plate umpire is involved in every single play almost. Second base umpire doesn't get a lot of love. You could say he is Eric Lovelace out there. As that one's fouled off to the right side.
The aptly named Eric Lovelace, but right now
I still got it.
Getting at least a few more cracks in here before maybe midnight strikes here. I can't really call them Cinderellas. They're the 2 seed, but
sure feels like Cinderella coming from losing that first game. I mean, the last team to win the Big Ten tournament after losing the first game happened all the way back in 2005. It was the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, wow. That is ancient history right there.
0-1 pitch. Misses high. It's 1-1.
I think all of us here in the booth right now were in elementary school back then when a team losing on the first day won the Big Ten tourney. So history not in the Wolverines' favor right now.
I'd be off by a year in there, but I'm pretty sure it was 2005. I know it was the Michigan Wolverines, the last one to do it. Page comes set. Pitch to Schwellenbach on 1-1. Swing and a miss. At a high off-speed pitch, it looked like, and now it's 1-2.
So Page getting ahead of the count here in his first batter faced. We'll see if he can minimize the damage and give Michigan's offense a more manageable task, having to come back in this one.
Schwellenbach's been the man of the day for the Huskers. 2 for 4, couple singles, 3 RBIs, driven in half the Husker runs, and that's currently the difference in the ballgame, 3. 1-2 pitch, and a diving step by Jimmy Kern knocks the ball down at first base. Not able to make a play at Schwellenbach at first. Going to be his 3rd single of the day. But that one does not drive in a run, as stopping over at third is Angelo Altavilla.
Yep, Kerr is at least able to keep one more run off the board for now. Now, there is a good sac fly situation here for the Huskers. Kerr batting that ball away from the outfield and discouraging Altavilla from running home.
Brings up Luke Roscom. Roscom singled to start the 7th. Was stranded on third base by a strikeout, couple of strikeouts by Willie Weiss. He's 1 for 4 overall in the day. Getting his first look at Isaiah Page. This is just the second batter Page is facing in the ballgame today now. Runners on first and third. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Nebraska leads by 3. A chance to break it wide open. Luke Roscom, the big catcher for the Huskers, takes his time. Now steps into the batter's box against the right-handed throwing Isaiah Page. Righty lefty the first pitch. Misses down. It's 1-0.
Another opportunity here for a Michigan pitcher to walk the bases loaded in their first inning. Wouldn't that be a favorable situation with one out yet again?
You generally like to avoid walking the bases loaded, I'd say.
Yeah, I think teams that do it less tend to win more. So.
I'd say there's probably a correlation there. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch by Page. It's 1-1.
Yeah, the scoreboard they've been very quick and very accurate so far this week, but they're behind here. It says 0-1. That's definitely a 1-1 count.
Page comes set, or looks in for the sign with the ball behind his back. The glove right at his left shoulder. Now comes set in front of the chest and fires a 1-1 pitch that misses just low. 2-1.
Yep, still a bit behind here. Oh, no, and they just got it. 2-1 now. Scoreboard operators did an excellent job so far here in Omaha.
I think I counted one mistake where they were off by a pitch significantly. That pitch just missing as I see the replay now. 2-1 pitch. Off speed, catches the knees. It's 2-2.
Big pitch here. If he can get Roscom out without any runners advancing, that'll be a much more favorable situation to try to keep this game in reach for the Wolverines.
We're 2 minutes away from pretty much officially postponing Maryland and Ohio State. 2-2 pitch on the way. Misses outside, ball 3.
Not going to put much pressure on a batter with a pitch like that. Joe Donovan having to crawl over a bit to his left in order to prevent a stolen base. Not sure if home could have been stolen, but at least maybe a runner advancing to second and removing a force out.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Schwellenbach in motion here, try to stay out of the double play on the 3-2 pitch. Altavilla probably staying put at third, barring some crazy actions put in play by Darren Erstad, but doesn't seem like his team needs those to win at this point. Coming set is Page, righty-lefty, big 3-2 pitch on the way. Here it comes, runner is in motion, and it misses low, ball 4.
And deja vu all over again. Much like Willie Weiss, Isaiah Page is going to walk a batter with runners on the corners, load the bases with only one out. A single would be basically catastrophic, make this a 5-run game. A sac fly very much in play, keeping things a grand slam apart.
The outfield for Michigan really coming in now, trying to cut down a second run on a single and try to make a play on a sac fly at home. Joe Acker is the batter now. He's 1 for 3 on the ballgame today. Single, couple strikeouts, a walk, a run scored. First pitch to him, breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Got to stay ahead of these counts. I mean, he was in good shape with the last batter, but ends up walking him. Roscom has now been on, gotten the first each of his last 2 at-bats.
Righty to righty here, Page to Acker. The ball game probably hanging in the balance. 0-1 pitch just misses off the plate outside. It's 1-1. Donovan tried to keep it right on the corner there for Mike Duffy, but couldn't fool him. And now with the 1-1 count, we're all evened up.
All even here with 1 out, bases loaded. This is sounding like a bit of a broken record here for Michigan, facing this a lot today.
1-1 pitch. It's hit high in the air towards center field. Coming in is Jesse Franklin. He's going to have plenty of room to make the catch and probably prevent the sacrifice fly. He makes a strong throw towards home. It's up the line, but not going to matter. Not even giving it a second thought was Altavilla. Way too shallow a fly ball there. Just a routine fly out for out number 2.
Yep, Joe Acker not quite able to put enough under that one. He got a bit too much under that ball. If he could have driven that just maybe 20 feet further, maybe a bit quicker too, not letting Franklin set his feet, he could have made this a 4-run game, but that is a big difference right there. Those 10, 15 feet preventing Altavilla from running keeps Michigan alive in this one. They've got to make 4 more outs and provide at least 3 more runs if they want to live to see another day. Oh, another day before the NCAA regionals.
Alex Henwood to the plate, left-handed hitter. Senior second baseman. First pitch to him this at-bat is just off the plate away, maybe low. Count is 1-0. On the day, Henwood has reached on grounded into a fielder's choice to end an inning. A ground out, sacrifice bunt, and a walk. So 2 official at-bats, just the fielder's choice and the ground out. He was stranded at second last inning in the 7th after walking. Page comes set. The 1-0. Fouled off on the left field line. That'll get up out of play. Just making its way into the second deck. And the count is 1-1.
Page can be a little bit more comfortable here. If he can force any kind of out, he is going to escape this inning with only 1 run allowed. And not being assessed to him.
And with the Appleton, Wisconsin native trying to keep this inning alive, meanwhile, for the Huskers. He'll wait as Page steps off for a minute. Page from Diamond Bar, California. Slightly different climates there, Wisconsin and California.
Yeah, I'd reckon.
There's a 1-1 pitch here from Page on the way. Off the plate away, it's 2-1.
Cannot afford to walk one here. He didn't really make that up to chance with the last batter, but another walked run would be devastating for the Wolverines.
Henwood has not batted with the bases loaded yet this season. Or at least does not have an official at-bat. He's up in the count 2-1 here, the pitch on the way. Misses outside, ball 3.
Now he's in trouble. Has to throw two convincing balls here and hope that either Henwood bites or swings and misses. This is going to be a nerve-wracking couple of pitches here for Isaiah Page.
He stares in to Joe Donovan for his sign here as the Husker crowd rises to their feet once again. Ready for a 3-1. Off the plate away, ball 4. Walked in a run, it's 7-3. This ball game is just about over.
Michigan's going to need at least 5 more to win it, and they'll need them quick. No one is warming up in the bullpen right now. Page is already up to 18 pitches, That's 47 pitches over the last 2 days for a redshirt freshman who's not been used to this extent throughout the season. It's going to be ultimately that loss to Ohio State, 2-1 back on Wednesday, that will do them in. And fielding in this one too, just not up to par. It's been forever since Michigan recorded a grounded out.
Yeah, looking back at the score sheet here, they have not recorded a ground out since the first out of the 5th inning.
Yikes.
Over 2 turns of the lineup ago.
And probably 2 hours in real time, or not quite that long, but
actually, I stand correct. There was the sacrifice bunt recorded in there, but in terms of a non-sacrifice bunt ground out, over 2 turns of the lineup ago. It's Colby Gomez to the plate now. He hits one just foul down the third base line, almost hitting the runner over there, Schwellenbach.
Yeah, would have gotten some angry words from teammate Schwellenbach there. He'd be keeled over right now if that had made contact. Ducking out of that one, and he nearly blew the lid off this, TD Ameritrade Park. Fans getting excited as that one hugs the foul ball line before curling away.
The 0-1 pitch here from Page to Gomez, righty to righty. Breaking ball on the outside corner, strike 2. 2 outs here. In the top of the 8th inning, Nebraska leads 7-3, an 0-2 count, bases loaded on Colby Gomez. Isaiah Page just trying to get out of this inning, minimizing the damage. When we started this inning, it was 5-3 Huskers. It's now a grand slam ball game. Now Page comes set. 1-2. Call, strike 3 on the outside corner. Froze Gomez, did he? Gomez goes down for the 3rd time on strikes today. Hat trick for him, although a slightly more tolerable one with his team up by 4 than the likes of Joe Donovan for the Wolverines. We're going to head to the bottom of the 8th inning here. The Huskers tack on 2 more runs. The score, Nebraska 7, Michigan 3. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And now some hero ball is going to be desperately needed from the Wolverines. Now they had 2 huge innings earlier today, scoring 7 and 6 early in this morning's game. They're going to need something like that to win this one, as they lead off with the doldrums of the lineup so far today. Miles Lewis 0 for 3, Blake Nelson 0 for 2. He's a .310 hitter. If you're to believe in the gambler's fallacy, you say he's due for one right now. Joe Donovan 0 for 3 today. 2 strikeouts, I believe. 3 strikeouts every single time for Joe Donovan. And then Christian Bullock, who has gotten on base, but is 0 for 2 today.
And not much really left here for the Wolverines. And Robbie Palkert still on the mound for Nebraska. He's pretty much going to go the whole way, it seems like. They're going to have plenty of pitching left tomorrow to face whoever comes out of Minnesota, Ohio State, which I believe will just about officially start tomorrow morning, I'm going to guess. I don't know exactly how they'll rearrange the schedules, but we'll have to see. On the bright side, the Michigan Wolverines out in the bullpen at least trying to have a little bit of fun. I don't think it was stretching. I think they're trying to take part in the Titanic. Cam was whoever's out there standing near the mound but didn't get on the scoreboard, unfortunately. At least trying to stay lighthearted, trying to stay in this ball game.
And even if they don't come up here with the Big Ten championship, they will know they almost certainly extended their season with their performance over the past 2 days.
They did, but knowing that they were so close to not just one, but 2 shots at a Big Ten title.
Yep, the season coming up just short. And I mean, these are the 2 better teams on this side of the bracket. It just so happens to be. So in a way, they might feel like they came up just a little bit behind another team, narrowly missing both Big Ten championships they could have won this year. Of course, they had a 2.5 game lead when they started playing Indiana.
It was a 2.5 game lead, yes.
Over Indiana way back on May 5th. Lost 6 of their last 8 to end the regular season. 5 of their last 7 to end the regular season, and lost to the Big Ten.
5 of 8, I believe. As the first pitch here, Miles Lewis on the inside corner for a strike, 0-1.
And ended up losing that out on the Big Ten regular season title. They outlasted Indiana in this one, Indiana being the second team gone.
They were gone in just 2 days as the inside pitch almost hits Miles Lewis on the hip, but he avoids it, and it's 1-1. Lewis 0 for 3 today. 3 pop-outs, 1 in fair territory, 2 in foul ground. He's getting the ball elevated, just not with much authority and not quite to the right part of the ballpark. He swings and misses here. Comes up empty and is now down in the count 1-2 to Robbie Palkert. Palkert's already got 3 strikeouts on the day, looking to make it 4. Works in the first base side of the rubber, works out of the windup with the high Red Sox. Wind up in the 1-2. Swing and tapped foul near the third base coach's box. Nick Schnabel will knock it down and toss into the stands. Count remains 1-2.
Yep, 1 pitch here, and that could send Miles Lewis to 0 for 4 on the day. Not what you want for the senior, what might be his last Big Ten game.
Almost certainly will be at this point for the seniors. 1-2, misses well low and away. Count is now even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Palkert has had issues with just missing wildly at times. But only 1 walk overall on the day, with Michigan swinging at balls in the zone, putting them in play at times, but just nothing to really show for it.
And, of course, advancing a few runners, too, with those wild pitches, but not too much damage.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss at a ball way in front of the plate in the dirt. Lewis down on strikes here to start the 8th, and there's 1 gone.
As he drops to 0-4 now, Blake Nelson, who is tied for being the second highest batting average on this team, is tasked with the quite difficult service today of getting this Michigan offense rolling.
Nelson has reached base once, walked back in the 4th inning, bookended that with a fly out and a ground out. He swings and pops one off near the right side. This might have room for Gomez near the Nebraska dugout. Actually, it will get over the Nebraska dugout and out of play. And booing the fan that dropped the ball as it's an 0-1 count.
And that was a pretty catchable one, too.
That was a very catchable ball.
First row, no one in front of him interfering, just basically bumps off his shoulder.
Someone's got to make a play over there. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there. No excuses.
No one in front of you to interfere, but someone comes up with it, picking it up off the ground. No real play being made on the ball.
0-1 pitch to Nelson. Catches the inside corner. It's 0-2.
Might get 2 going down with strikeouts real quickly here. And the Wolverines might be out of this 8th inning before it really got started, unless Blake Nelson can provide some late last-minute heroics.
0-2 pitch almost hits him in the shoulder. He twists out of the way there and avoids getting plunked. It's 1-2.
I was shocked he didn't get hit. I mean, it didn't sound like it, but I could have thought. I'm impressed he twisted out of that.
I'm not sure how he really avoided that one. Take it on the shoulder, Blake. Get the offense going a little bit.
Especially with an 0-2 count, you gotta.
He tucked his elbow and almost got him right off the elbow. He swings and taps one now, foul off himself at the plate. So he gets hit by the ball anyway, just off his own bat. The count remains 1-2. Blake Nelson, another guy playing his final Big Ten game, in all likelihood, barring a miracle comeback in the 9th. Or here in the bottom of the 8th, for that matter, with one out. Winding up is Palkert, another 1-2 offering. Misses low and away, 2-2.
Yep, this might be Nelson's last at-bat as a Big Ten baseball player. Let's see what he can make do with it. If it's not, if he is going to play another game, this will likely not be his last at-bat, but
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses way in front of the plate. That's the pitch he got Lewis on, but Nelson did not chase. Now it's 3-2.
And if he wants to set himself up for another chance, someone's got to get things started. Michigan's offense falling asleep since they had bases loaded with no out in the 5th inning.
3-2 pitch, bounce towards short, going way deep in the hole of Schwellenbach. He makes a strong throw to first in time to get him. What a throw.
Yep, fielding has been a big difference in this one. I think ultimately pitching was the real difference, but this is maybe a 3-3 ball game if Nebraska doesn't maybe take advantage of a couple of bad fielding errors or just poor decisions from the Wolverines. Blake Nelson himself guilty of a couple of those. It's Joe Donovan now trying to start a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 8th. His Wolverines down 4.
Trying to avoid the golden sombrero. Now he's gone down on strikes 3 times. He swings and misses at the first pitch here. It's 0-1.
Never a good way to end your Big Ten season. Golden sombrero, yeah, very possible right now, especially with the stuff that Palkert has had ever since the 4th inning.
0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Donovan's falling behind 1-2, 0-2, 1-2, and now 0-2 again. He's just up there taking hacks at balls that are dropping out of the zone. He has not seen the ball from Palkert at all right now. Yep, almost seems like a formality here, this 3rd pitch upcoming.
Yeah, never a situation you want to be in, but the crowd up against him.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Right on cue, golden sombrero for Joe Donovan. For Palkert, that's strikeout number 5 on the day. 2 in that inning as Michigan goes down 1-2-3. This ball game's over. The 9th is nothing but a formality at this point as Nebraska is leading Michigan by a score of 7-3, but it is not a 7-3 ball game at this point.
Well, on to more positive news in the state of Michigan. CMU has just won the MAC, so fire up chips. They're going to the NCAA baseball tourney. You never know, maybe you could be in the same regional as these Wolverines.
And certainly Wolverines, as demoralizing this night has been, they certainly have a lot to look forward to in an NCAA tournament berth.
Came into the day 39th in RPI. They're going to probably move up a hair, splitting 2 with a slightly highly favorite team with RPI. Added two big wins against NCAA caliber teams in this little run they've had while facing elimination. Backs to the wall. Got a win versus Illinois. Got an impressive win versus Nebraska. They're in. They'll be probably a 3 seed. We'll see what they can make of it.
And importantly for Michigan, they're going to have the pitching next week.
Yes, yeah.
Part of the reason this night has been so frustrating is pitching just has not been there all night. It's been tired arms. It's been arms that are inconsistent. There's really no one else to go to when they get into any sort of trouble. As opposed to the first few games when Michigan was getting great starts out of Kaufman, out of Criswell, out of Tommy Henry, out of Walker Cleveland earlier today, who would probably be a 4th starter in a regional, and if they had to go to a 4th game. It's certainly encouraging to have the pitching there. Michigan showed they have the offense to explode at times with games like yesterday and today, and really the second half of the Illinois game as well. And there is a lot of positives to go forward here. Clean up the defensive mistakes. It's been a thing all season long, and they were able to do so for most of this Big Ten tournament until today when the wheels kind of just fell off in terms of fielding the ball and making solid plays. Mojo Hagee making his way to the plate for the second time today. Struck out looking against Willie Weiss. Gets his first look at Isaiah Page and takes the first pitch strike.
And getting back to your comments about the NCAA tournament, of course, pitching will be there that has not been here today. However, the fielding they've put out today has not been NCAA tournament caliber by any sense of the imagination.
0-1 pitch misses low. It's 1-1. There is action in the Michigan bullpen. Looks like Joe Pace to me from up here. The short, stocky right-hander.
And, well, there's not too many options for who else it could be.
5'9", redshirt junior right-hander out of Valley Village, California. Most likely one out there as he pitches fouled back to the screen. It's 1-2. At the very least, it lift the Wolverine spirits a little bit. Whenever Joe Pace gets in the game, everybody seems to get a little bit happier in that Michigan dugout.
Yeah, he might get a chance here if Page can retire a couple more.
1-2 pitch. Misses high and away, 2-2. After Haggy, it's Cam Chick and Aaron Pileski due up in this inning. And you have to think maybe Darren Erstad was wise this morning to sit some of his regular players late in the ball game in favor of getting some backups in and resting him up for tonight's game. As they called strike 3 on Mojo Haggy, he goes down for the second time looking at a pitch on the outside corner. Not the best day for Mojo coming into the game late, but it'll be one out. No one on for Cam Chick.
And as this is probably Michigan's last game before the NCAA tournament, I would like some in-game fielding practice right now. Still on that long drought with no non-sacrifice fielding outs in a long time.
The first pitch of the at-bat catches the outside corner to Chick, the left-handed hitter, and Nebraska fans not happy as the outside corner has been there all game. Not sure why they haven't realized that one quite yet, but it is 0-1. And now it's fouled off to the left side out of play, so it'll be 0-2.
And another fan. That basically goes through his hands.
Little jump ball there after it came off the upper deck. A lot of fans scrambling, waiting for that ball to bounce away from that giant group of people. Nothing happening. 0-2 pitch misses high and away. It's now 1-2.
Isaiah Page staying ahead of this one. Maybe at least giving the Michigan offense some hopes to carry their team into the championship game, albeit very unlikely at this point.
The 1-2 pitch missed down. It's now 2-2. There is action in the Indiana bullpen as well. Can't see the name or the number out there, rather. But a couple names, I believe, you saw thrown away around. Maybe Mike Waldron. Maybe even the closer, Colby Gomez, but I doubt it. So that one misses.
Moving from first base over to the mound. Nebraska bullpen. Indiana went home a couple days ago.
As that is misses outside. It's 3-2. They're all in red.
Yeah,
so many teams in red here. Half of them exactly, as this one misses just outside, I believe, maybe low. Not really sure where that one missed, but that's a walk. That's the fourth walk of the day for Cam Chick, on base for the fifth time in the ballgame today.
And that is a nice thing about the maize and blue. Iowa's really the only colors team that rivals it in the Big Ten. Nebraska, Maryland, Ohio State, Indiana, all here in Omaha. They are all wearing red. Illinois sticks out orange and blue. Iowa, black and yellow. Michigan, maize and blue. Oh, 5. Minnesota also wears red. Just got an announcement for that Ohio State Minnesota game. 11 a.m. tomorrow.
As there's a foul ball at the plate, it's 0-1 on Aaron Pileski. But as you mentioned, the Ohio State Maryland game moved to 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow time. And after the conclusion of that one, you'll see your championship game. So that is the other semifinal, do or die, winner go home, winner takes all, as they like to call it, ball game. It's the 0-1 pitch, just missed low with the breaking ball. It's 1-1 now.
And of course, that means that Big Ten championship game is going to get delayed. Probably going to happen more so around 3 o'clock than the originally scheduled 1 p.m. So silver lining there, at least maybe for the Michigan fans. You're going to get home a little bit quicker now.
Yeah, perhaps you don't have to worry about sticking around for another day. And I'll probably be here during the morning for that morning game. I don't know if you guys are still planning on sticking around. Might have a little bit of a postseason podcast. If you guys are up for it.
For sure. Got a moratorium to the Big Ten season.
The regular season, the Big Ten season, yeah.
Still got at least 2 games ahead of them.
1-1 pitch from Page to Pileski. At the knee, strike 2.
Looking to retire his second of this inning. Got the first one out looking, if I recall correctly.
Polensky, fielder's choice, walk, strikeout. Walk, strikeout. Now down the count here, 1-2. Hasn't done a whole lot today in that 3-hole, but still an impressive hitter as he watches one bounce in the dirt. The throw down from Joe Donovan, trying to get the runner stealing, is in time.
And there's a confidence booster for the Wolverines. Why not try that at this point? Works out. Not necessarily a grounded ball trial there, but that's some fielding, throwing it around the bases that worked out there for them.
After Joe Donovan threw one into center field earlier on, that one's got to feel great. That was right on the money there to Akeo Thomas. Slapped the tag on Cam Chick, and he heads back to the dugout with 2 outs in the inning, and now a 2-2 count on Polensky. Chance to get out of the inning here for Page. Breaking ball misses off the plate away. I think Donovan thought it came real close. Started to pop out of his crouch, but now it's 3-2.
And I'd have to say that is probably the first impressive infield play I've seen from the Wolverines all day. Well, not all day. It's in this game.
The 3-2 is fouled back up over here near the press box, and it remains 3-2. And my chances dwindling here at my foul ball this season.
We'll see if maybe one, K.O. Thomas Sr. going to be his last Big Ten game too. We'll see if maybe he can hook something up for you. Beam one right over here.
Yeah, toss one up over here. 3-2 pitch. Fastball inside, ball 4. Another walk here in the 9th inning. 2 outs, runner on first. I'll bring up Angelo Altavilla coming to the plate for the 6th time today for him. And another guy for Nebraska, hitless on the day. 0 for 4 officially, but been on base 3 times with a fielder's choice, hit by pitch, and reached on an error.
And for Jack Blomgren's sake, Isaiah Page needs to make sure he does not get on base and risk getting towards second.
Really, Nebraska's done it not really through hits. The only guy with multiple hits in the lineup is Schwellenbach, who's on deck right now. First pitch to Altavilla, misses outside, ball 1.
Yep, hits are only 7-5 in favor of the Huskers. Errors 2-0, also favoring the Huskers, and that's the big reason why they're up by 4 right now.
The biggest reason, the walk stats. Guess how many times Michigan has walked in this ballgame today?
2?
4.
4, okay.
Guess how many times Nebraska has walked in this ballgame today?
9.
13.
Whoa!
And now there's a 2-0 count here on Angelo Altavilla.
So we're now through the fifth time through the lineup. That means
6th time through the lineup.
Ooh, okay. Okay, it's not as bad as I had thought, but that means 40.
Ground ball towards second. Akeo Thomas going to make the play, throw on to first. There's a ground
and
ball
a ground
for you.
out to end.
You got the ground out to end the top
end
of the
defensive season. And oh man, they're getting back into it again. Altavilla. Oh, no, sorry, it's a replay. I forgot BTN is behind us.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Altavilla ran all the way out to second base, tucked to Jack Blomgren after grounding out to second.
Well up 4 on top of that, but so we'll hopefully Michigan can at least entertain us a little bit longer, extend your broadcasting career here with WCBN. That's been worthy of at least a little bit of an extension here from the Michigan Wolverines. Thank you, Jordan Wogu, for keeping it going for 3 more days.
Yeah,
3 more games.
Very thankful there. Nebraska's leading Michigan 7-3 going to the bottom of the 9th. This one just about over, as it's really not even as close as that 7-3 score shows. We just told you the walk stats, 13-4. That's the big difference in this ball game.
And right there, that was the 49th and probably final at bat there for the Huskers. So that is going to mean 13 out of 49 result in the walk. That's a little bit over 25%, 27-ish% of Nebraska batters walked. And yeah, that might be the story of the game right there.
Most definitely is, and again, that comes back to Michigan just not having the pitching coming into today. The offense, another story as well, just went silent after the 5th. They looked like they were going to get their way back into it. They tied the game up at the bottom of the 5th. Nebraska scored 2 in the top of the 6th, and the Michigan offense could not do anything after that. Since they scored those 2 runs in the top of the 5th inning, they have walked once. That's the only base runner. The other 9 guys have gone down without a problem.
And yeah, no hits in a minute.
Even in that 5th inning, it was 3 straight singles to start things. The hit by pitch on Jack Blomgren. The sacrifice fly by Jimmy Kerr, and since that Jimmy Kerr, no one else has gotten on base aside from that walk. Christian Bullock's going to lead things off, trying to regain the ways he had in the earlier game when he was red hot. Had himself 3 hits. 3 runs, drove in a run in the earlier ball game as well. So far today, 0 for 2, fly out, ground out, and a walk. He is the one batter to reach since that 5th inning for Michigan. He reached in the 6th. And that one caught the ankles, maybe, I'm going to guess. It's ruled a strike. 0-1. Looked low from up here. Get another look at it in just a second. As this one was hit towards the left field line, slicing over there. The left fielder, Hagee, is not going to make a play. It bounced up against the wall. Christian Boog zooms into second base with a stand-up double to lead things off here in the 9th. Maybe a little bit of life for Michigan.
Making things interesting. That hit drought is now snapped. Palkert's up to his 80th pitch, and it gets beaten. Not a lot of action going on in the Nebraska bullpen. But, I mean, this game is not, if a run comes in here, I think you're going to start seeing Darren Erstad start to consider maybe bringing in a fresher pitcher as pitch number 81 coming up for Palkert against Akeo Thomas.
And the closer is the first baseman over there, Kobe Gomez, but he was not the one warming up in the bullpen. Didn't catch who was warming up in the bullpen. First pitch to Akeo Thomas. Fastball called strike 1. Thomas on the day walked and singled his first 2 times at the plate. Came around to score both times. Then worked himself a 9-pitch strikeout in the 6th.
And I'm sure he's eager to maybe steal a base here. We know Palkert has been erratic at times.
0-1 on Thomas. This is the tapper in front of the mound, or rather to third base. Altavilla is going to range over, make the play over to first. Easy out, number 1.
Not what the doctor ordered right there. Up to Jordan Wogu now, the best hitter on this team, to maybe provide some life. But still, I mean, he's going to even get the tying run at the bat, Michigan is going to need to provide at least one more hit. No guarantee that Blomgren, who could be the tying run, will even see the field.
Yeah, Blomgren still in the hole as the tying run. Haven't even gotten out onto the field of play yet, have the Wolverines. Jordan Wogu takes a pitch high. Ball 1, it's 1-0. Wogu on the day, 1 for 4. Fly out, ground out, single, ground out. Swinging a lot early in the count. The longest at bat he had was the single, in which he got down 0-2 on single on the next pitch. So he's looking to swing early on here as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. It's 1-1.
Tried to get a piece of that one, trying to leave his mark. Had a home run earlier. Well, maybe if he could get one right now, that would certainly breathe some life into the Wolverines.
Really, this is not really the pitcher for Wogu. Palkert with a lot of downward movement on just about all of his pitches. Wogu likes to get under the ball and lift it up towards the outfield. 1-1 pitch bounces in the dirt. Stopped back there by Roscom. He holds Bullock at second, and the count is 2-1.
And I think you're spot on about that. Wogu 1 for 4 right now. He's been excellent all tournament long beside the Ohio State and the Maryland games. I mean, really just beat up the ball against Nebraska earlier today, and I don't need to tell you folks still listening what he did on Thursday.
Staring in is Palkert, working from the stretch now with Bullock on second. Still from the first base side of the rubber as Roscom sends the signs in. Coming set is Palkert at the stomach. And now fires one that's looped over towards the right side. Easy play for Gomez. It is made in foul ground, so technically a foul out here for the second out in the 9th.
And you or I could have made that one right there. A nice little prance over to the ball, maybe 6 feet from the first base bag. And it's Jesse Franklin now, who has had some success, the only Wolverine with 2 hits in this one. We'll see if he can extend Michigan's season and the Austin Falco experience here at WCVN.
The Nebraska crowd rises to their feet as Jesse Franklin comes to the plate. The last hope for the Wolverines. He's 2 for 4 today, a couple singles and an RBI. Can't be trying to do too much here with, again, the tying run is still in the dugout for Michigan. Bullock's out there on second after a leadoff double. The next 2 batters made outs, and now a pitch misses down into Franklin. The count is 1-0. Should Franklin prolong this, it'll be Jack Blomgren.
Yeah, and don't think he's looking to walk right now. That's not what Michigan needs. These balls definitely being thrown decrease the likelihood of any hero ball here from the Wolverines.
Franklin open stance, 1-0 pitch to him, misses low, ball 2.
He's going to keep throwing these low, reduce any chance of the batter getting under them.
There's action a little bit in the end of the bullpen, just some stirring around, no throwing. I think they have complete faith in Robbie Palkert to finish this one off, finish off his 5 2/3 inning it'll be after this one.
He's done a wonderful job in relief for the Huskers. Basically been there, carried the workload.
Swinging and a miss on a breaking ball, down and in, and now it's 2-1. Franklin had that 2-0 pitch lined up. He wanted to hit that one off the scoreboard in right field. It came up empty.
Try to beam himself in the mug right here, up on the scoreboard.
His smiling face there, his numbers underneath it, including those 12 home runs he's hit this season. 2-1 pitch to him, misses low, ball 3.
Well, Palkert is going to have to throw a strike at some point. But now is not the time, I don't think. And I think he's probably content really letting the only solid hitter right so far in this game for Michigan walk.
The only hitter with multiple hits in the ballgame for Michigan. He takes high, ball 4, and gets on base. The tying run now on the on-deck circle, but Michigan still needs more runners on to get there.
Yep, walk's really the only, I think, threat right now. Well, he was able to get down Woku. I don't care what Woku's stats are. He's always going to be a threat.
And the boos you hear, Jack Blomgren stepping up to the plate. He of a little bit of beef with third baseman Altavilla for Nebraska. Or Altavilla, rather. Blomgren 1 for 3 today. Single, hit by pitch, and an RBI on that hit by pitch. Also has a ground out and a fly out. More of a blowout, I'd say. Watch out for the beanball, but Nebraska does not want to put the tying run at the plate. Takes the first pitch fastball strike for the first strike of the at-bat, does Blomgren.
It is indeed still a one-swing game, so Nebraska would have to start feeling just a tiny bit nervous if Blomgren got on base.
Jimmy Kerr represents the tying run right now for Michigan. He is still in the on-deck circle.
And he was a hair away from a grand slam.
He was earlier on. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2 and a breaking ball. Blomgren is down 0-2 in the count. And this would be oh so sweet for the Nebraska crowd if they can get Jack Blomgren out to end the ball game.
And Blomgren no longer can really afford to look, as Palker's been happy to throw balls in the dirt right now. Blomgren no longer has the luxury of staring at too many.
Gotta be careful not to chase something way out of the zone and stay alive on anything close. Blomgren calls time at the plate, wants to reset as he thought Palkert was moving just a little too quickly for him. Wants to make sure he's fully composed here for the 0-2 pitch. Michigan down to their final strike. Palkert comes set. The 0-2. Misses down and in. It gets away from Roskin. The runners aren't going to try anything. They don't mean anything at this point, so no point in getting thrown out on the base paths. The count's 1-2. That pitch was closer than I think we give it credit for, as the Nebraska fans ready to jump on it, but Palkert, or rather Roskin behind the plate, just dropped it. It was a little bit low and in upon further review. But
sure,
still a 1-2 pitch here.
Yeah, deflated the crowd for about 10 seconds there, but they're right back in it.
Michigan's final strike, 1-2. Hits Blomgren right in the back. And the catcher Roskin right out against Blomgren. He wants to make sure that was not, he wants to make sure Blomgren knows that is not intentional. Doesn't want any beef happening here. Blomgren plunked for the third time today. He gives Roskin a little pat on the back there. He knows there's no way they want to put the tying run at the plate in this situation.
And now Blomgren joins Altavilla as the second player to be hit for the third time by a pitch in this game, or in this day of play.
You think that has something to do with their beef? They just keep getting hit. They're just angry all the time.
Well, it might be the other way around. You know, you keep getting hit by the ball, by these 80-mile-per-hour balls, and it makes you angry. Palkert now just threw his 95th pitch too. You wonder if maybe Gomez is going to come in and maybe finish this game.
I think we're going to see Darren Erstad walking out with his book in hand. Normally indicates a double switch, which would mean probably the first baseman coming in to pitch.
Yeah, tying
Gomez has his glove off. He's getting another glove here, most likely coming in the closer for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
At the start of this game, the wind was blowing 7 miles per hour to the north. Right now, looking at the flag, I don't think it's going more than 2 miles per hour, so it's going to be only even harder than it was for Jimmy Kerr to try to knock this one out of the park.
The benefit here of this little pitching change, we get to hear a little bit more Justin Timberlake as a huge round of applause here, and a deserved round of applause here for Robbie Palkert as he makes his way off the mound.
And I'm sure he would have loved to finish this one, but he'll enjoy having his team be around for the Big Ten Championship even more. Barring no late game heroics here from Jimmy Kerr, who has a chance got oh so close just a couple hours ago as we approach the 3.5-hour mark.
Colby Gomez makes his way from first base into the game. Ty Rosenberry is going to make his way into the game in place of Cam Chick in the designated hitter spot. When you bring in a position player to pitch, you lose your DH spot in the lineup and you get it replaced with another player coming in to play, as is the case here.
I don't think they're really concerned about that right now, but it could come back to bite them.
I mean, you just need one out here out of your closer. Should be a relatively easy job in name for one of the best closers in the Big Ten this season.
Could all change with one swing of the bat, though.
Colby Gomez, 15 appearances on the year, did start a couple games as an opener. He's 0-2 with a 2.89 ERA, 11 saves on the season, and 18 2/3 innings pitched, struck out 18 batters, just a hair under 1 inning, walked just 7. Batters hit .250 against the tall right-hander. And he's going to get Jimmy Kerr. Jimmy Kerr, Michigan's last hope in this ball game after Blomgren was plunked to load the bases and put the tying run at the plate. We mentioned back in the 5th inning, Jimmy Kerr came up in a similar situation. That was with no outs and the bases loaded. He had a sacrifice fly to the warning track in deep right center.
Yep, RBI right there, despite the fact that he's 0 for 2 for the day. And at the very least, they've given us a little bit more baseball to talk about here for all you folks listening at WCBN.
Made it a little more interesting. And I think for Jimmy Kerr here, the trick is don't swing for that grand slam. You just want to keep the line moving.
Yeah, we haven't seen Gomez yet today, but I'm going to guess it'll be a similar tactic. Do not throw any home run balls.
Gomez also pitches in the first base side of the rubber against the left-handed hitting Kerr. Righty to lefty here. The tall 6'5" frame of Gomez comes set. First pitch to Kerr, fastball just off the plate outside. It's 1-0. Husker fans not happy as that 94-mile-an-hour fastball missed wide.
Might have to take another look at that, but
serious heat out of the hand of Gomez.
And yeah, I think there's not going to be anything too juicy thrown Kerr's way.
Kerr's seen that fastball, and now the 1-0. Hits it high in the air towards the left side. This one's going to do it. Altavila's camping under it. The shortstop Schwellenbach also there. Altavila makes the grab for out number 3, and Nebraska moves on to the Big Ten championship game here in the Big Ten tournament tomorrow afternoon.
Jimmy Kerr gets a bit too much under that one after quite a few pitches here in this last inning that were too difficult to get under. That one way too high. Altavila gets to end it. And I'm sure that'll be a good moment for him, not letting Blomgren advance any further and not allowing the Wolverines to advance any further here in the Big Ten tournament. Not going to come up with a win here for the seniors. Their last time winning the Big Ten tournament coming back in 2014, I believe it was.
2015, I believe, was them winning the Big Ten championship. No
for this senior class.
Not for the senior class. They were not able to win that Big Ten tournament championship, so they go out without the Big Ten championship. Just missed it a couple times this season. But all that means for the Wolverines, that there's work to be done in the NCAAs. You want to make your seniors proud. Go out, play some more good baseball. Extend their season as long as you possibly can. And if this team plays up to the potential it has, you could see them in a few weeks right back here in Omaha at the College World Series. It's a tough task. This team has been inconsistent at times, trying to get all three phases of the game working at the same time. But they can do it. They have the talent on this roster. They have the senior leadership. They have the coaching. The pitching, the defense, the offense, it's all there. It's just a matter of putting it all together for a few more games next weekend in what will presumably be an NCAA tournament regional for them. We'll find out their destination on Selection Monday, but for now, Michigan's season at Ray Fisher Stadium and in the Big Ten has come to a close here at TD Ameritrade Park. Final score, Nebraska 7, Michigan 3. Any final words, Daniel or Nick, if you want to hop on and say anything else?
It's been a pleasure watching this team. I didn't get to see them quite as long as you and Nick did, but it's been a great weekend. Grateful for WCBN being the only Michigan media outlet to come out to Omaha this weekend and grateful for a bunch of great calls along with you, Austin. We covered quite a bit of America, not just Big Ten. Technically all Big Ten country, but we've been to Manhattan, Madison, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Omaha now, our furthest western extent here, following the Michigan Wolverines. It's been a pleasure, and I think Nick has a couple of last comments to add here. And I just want to say one last time, thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to the Michigan Wolverines, and especially thank you, Austin Falco, for putting this together, getting WCBN out here to call some games in Omaha.
That was Daniel Thompson signing off for the last time this season, most likely barring some heroics from Michigan over the NCAA tournament berth. Maybe we'll get Daniel back on if we make it to Omaha again, but that'll take a little bit of luck and some good play from the Wolverines down the line. And Nick, go ahead.
And to piggyback on that, thank you very much to the Big Ten for hosting this tournament, allowing us to come down. It's been a fantastic experience for all of us involved. Thanks to Michigan, it looked like they could have been out of it after Wednesday, and they kept fighting all through the weekend, and to that, ultimately, it just looked like they ran out of gas at the end. But thanks very much to the team, and thank you very much to Kurt Svoboda for letting us come down and helping us out. And should we know this will be our last broadcast of the 2018-19 season. Thank you very much to all of you for listening to us. Every sport, all listeners, all SID who's ever helped us, all players who've ever talked to us. And thank you very much to you, Austin Falco, your last game as a member of WCBN Sports.
Let's not hold out hope here for Nashville. We can still get that Nashville regional, and I will do all I can to make that trip down there.
Every time I say goodbye to you on what's supposed to be your last broadcast, you end up coming back.
I'm never gonna leave. I'm here forever.
It's the reverse jinx.
All right. Well, anyway, if this is indeed the end for Michigan baseball coverage here on WCBN Sports, and for my last call of WCBN Sports as a whole, thank you everybody for listening. It's been an honor calling baseball specifically over the last 3 years, along with some football, some volleyball. But this baseball team followed them for the last 3 years. A lot of great players making their way through Ann Arbor. This team, certainly one of the most fun teams to follow with the offense, the great pitching at times. Head coach Eric Bakich has this team in a fantastic spot, and I can't wait to follow him from a distance as guys like Nick Hornberg take over on the calls from here on out. I'm leaving the baseball calls in good hands here at WCBN Sports, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy their work going forward over the next few years. But in all likelihood, this is it for myself and for Michigan baseball this season. From TD Ameritrade Park, Michigan Falls in this Big Ten tournament game, 7-3. They did a great job fighting back throughout this season. We'll look forward to them in the NCAAs. I know I will for sure be watching and following. I hope you will as well. For all of us here at WCBN Sports, thank you for listening this season, the entire season, and especially this Big Ten tournament where we had an outpouring of support, both listenership and on our impromptu podcast we've been doing. Just kind of dragging it out at this point, but we're going to leave you here as the sun has set. Michigan is departing the dugout. We're ready to leave things here at TD Ameritrade Park. And we're going to leave you, as we always do, with a good night and a Go Blue.